Hello, you're listening to Reviewing History, your comedy history podcast. I'm filmmaker and teacher Brian Rupert, joined here by
Angie Yao.
And
as always, Stephen Badagliacco.
How we doing, guys?
Great.
Fantastic.
I'm happy to join you guys on the eve of the greatest motion picture to ever come out. Something I know everyone at this table has been twitching with excitement over.
Yes.
Avatar 2.
Aching to see it.
This podcast will release the day before Avatar 2
really?
graces us. Yes.
Well, I guess we got to talk about Avatar and James Cameron. And
James Cameron in general.
Titanic.
Titanic.
We're doing
We are
Titanic.
doing it. This is like just scratching an itch since day one. I've wanted to do this.
Really?
Yes.
This is what you've been most excited about?
I have been the most excited to do this movie. Yeah.
It's a film that everyone in the world has seen multiple times.
Yes.
It's a cultural phenomena in our lifetimes.
Mm-hmm.
It really characterized like the late 90s.
Oh, yeah.
Was this one of the first movies to make $1 billion? I know it was like close, if not the first.
Maybe adjusted for inflation.
I'll
Non-adjusted
say this.
for inflation.
Like being in like the third grade at the time, I was forced to listen to the Celine Dion song like
We all
in
were.
school.
Yeah, we all were.
Yeah.
I was in
And
fifth
do,
grade.
and
I
do
had
the
to.
Macarena in gym class. But it was a weird time. It was everything.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know?
Everywhere.
Inescapable.
I remember a woman on the Staten Island ferry attempted to do the I'm flying Jack thing and fell off and died.
That year?
Yes.
Whoa.
I don't recall that.
I don't recall that either, but that's believable because it was huge. It was everywhere. Even like science, like Discovery Channel had like Titanic documentaries.
Titanic everywhere.
Everything.
We played this computer game, me and Steve.
I have it still.
You got it?
I have it.
Oh, please send it to me. I would love to play.
I will send you the file to
Yeah.
run the game. It's very easy, dude.
I want to play it so bad.
It's Titanic based game. It's like Titanic Journey to the Past or some shit like that.
Like it's a historical game. It's not the movie.
It is
Yeah.
a historical game, but you play a secret agent on Titanic.
Who time travels back.
He doesn't time travel.
Oh, I thought he's a time traveler who's sent to stop
No,
it
no,
from
no.
blowing up or
The beginning of the game is the start of, I believe, World War II, and your house gets bombed in England, so you die right at the beginning. And he says, "What happens if I actually change time?" So you go back in time to relive his past to see if you can change your mission because you actually
Fuck
failed,
does this have to do with the Titanic?
and B, save the Titanic from sinking. You meet all like the real people in the game and shit like that, and it's a puzzle game, and like you're timed though. So once you hit a certain point, if you don't finish, you sink with the ship.
That's
And
what
it's
I was
really
saying.
cool. It's so much fun.
This was in the 90s you did this?
Yeah,
it was a
it was
PC game.
Titanic Mania, man.
I'm sure
Yeah,
it
it was
was
PC game.
the graphics must have been great.
Horrible. They used real pictures and just moved the mouths.
But
It was so
Cameron,
bad.
probably one of the most successful directors of all time.
Without a doubt.
Yes.
If
Easily.
not the most, as far as money.
I mean, he has 2 of the 3 highest grossing films ever.
Right.
So you could say that.
And almost all of his movies have been giant hits. Right? He
Basically.
doesn't make many.
he doesn't make
When he comes
Bad
out with a
movies.
movie, it tends to be very commercially successful.
Right. And I know you are not going to agree with me, but I'm a fan of most of them.
How could you not be?
Well, Brian,
So this is what I'll say. I respect Cameron. 100%, the man is a genius. I cannot take away
he's an
what.
eccentric genius too.
Yeah, I cannot take away what he has created in film. And trust me, he doesn't give a fuck what I have to say.
Right.
But I think with some people, for whatever reason,
He'll be our first email. He actually
Yeah.
cares and listens.
You know, if anyone's going to do it, it might be him.
I think there's just certain artists or bands or whatever where you just don't mesh with their work.
Sure. Yeah.
I do not connect with Cameron's work.
Okay.
For whatever reason,
Well, let's go through them because there aren't many we can talk about.
Okay.
each of them. The first one is Terminator, right?
I don't know if that's his first movie, but it's up there.
I think it's his first commercial success.
I love the first Terminator. It's a fucking masterpiece.
Great movie.
Oh, yeah.
Great movie. I know you don't like T2.
I do not like T2. I am the freak of the world.
Yes. Why don't you like T2?
I just don't connect with it. I hate the kid. Now, I will say part of this comes from when I saw it. I did not see any of the Terminator movies
When they came
until
out.
when they came out. I didn't see them as a kid. I didn't see them until I was well into high school.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw the first Terminator, and I was like, this is great. Then I wasn't able to rent T2 because it was like always out at the Blockbuster.
Right.
Like it was
It's the most popular movie for like kids our age at that time.
yeah,
for a
period.
long
it was
time,
perpetually
yeah.
gone, and I was like, okay. I saw Terminator 3, so I saw 1, 3,
You saw 3 before 2?
then eventually I saw 2.
Wow.
So I think for a lot of people, it's like at the time it must have been visually mind blowing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
For me, it's already like 10, 15 years old by the time I'm seeing it.
So it
So I'm
didn't
not
get its fair
I'm
share.
Not, I'm not blown away by the graphics. I don't like the kid. And I'm not as compelled or interested in it as I am with the first one.
Okay.
So I knew we were going to end up talking about T2 when we did Titanic. And I just started thinking, I was driving to work the other day and I was thinking about the world of Terminator and how the future is just retarded. It makes no sense. In the Terminator franchise, it's a wasteland of skulls and giant robots killing people.
Yeah.
How do the people even like have a chance? Like they're fighting like a guerrilla war.
Well, they don't.
But they are. They have such a chance.
They're losing.
They win.
They're doing so well that the machines have to send a robot back in time to kill his mom. You know, like he matters that much. They can't just hunt down the remaining people and kill them or just blow them up or something. It makes no sense. I think the much better world building in a post-apocalyptic film is the masterpiece that is Reign of Fire. Right?
Wait, with the dragons? With the
I
dragons.
love Rain of Fire.
Reign of Fire makes sense because in T2, the people couldn't just have like a home base, you know, because the robots would find them and kill them.
Okay.
The dragons aren't really trying to kill the people. They're just living their lives, you know, and they live in the castle and Matthew McConaughey comes and he's like, we're going to kill the dragons. It's awesome. Right?
It's what we need.
I was with you, and you went off the cliff. You went off the deep end.
I
with
love
that.
Reign of Fire.
That's
Deep
what I think
End,
you
is
just
that a
wanted
Titanic
to say.
pun?
Yeah, you just wanted to bring up like how great Reign of Fire is because it just makes no sense to me.
Mainly. But also, I compared the two, and I realized that the world of Reign of Fire is actually more believable. Dragons destroying the planet Earth
Is more believable?
than the world
Then
of Terminator.
a field of human skull.
Yeah.
Also, the time traveling Terminator makes zero sense.
Yeah.
Well, time
The
travel
movie
never
falls
makes
apart
sense.
immediately. It's,
If you get into the nitty gritty of the lore, it's stupid.
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, I get it. But we're not talking about Terminator
Well,
here.
real
We're
quick,
talking about
James Cameron. His first movie is Piranha 2.
Okay.
Then he does Terminator.
Right.
Then he does Aliens.
Yes.
Aliens
Did
is
you know that James Cameron,
fucking
when he
masterpiece.
did that Piranha 2 movie, he was a truck driver. And he just decided that I want to be a film director and like just read some books and made himself a director and sold himself to like studios.
To Roger Corman, I think, right?
Yeah. And they gave him that job and then they just gave him Terminator. He wrote Terminator and was like, I'm going to do this. And it was fucking Terminator.
Well, they were right.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Their bet really paid off.
You used to be able to do things like that.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
Steven Spielberg. Did you ever hear what he did?
No.
Yeah,
He
I
snuck
love it.
onto like the Paramount lot, I think, or Universal, and he found an empty office and he set up shop there.
Like he just belonged there?
Like he just belonged there and started like meeting with people and talking and like made that his office. So he did Aliens, which I do not like Aliens. I do not connect with it.
Really?
I like Aliens.
I like
Aliens is good,
Alien is
man.
better
Alien is better, but
and Alien 3 is better too.
I never saw 3. I saw 4.
I like all
4
the
is shit.
aliens, so I can't really say.
Aliens 2 is my least favorite Aliens. I just don't connect with his work.
It's so weird.
Are you like anti Bill Paxton or something?
No, I like Bill Paxton. He did The Abyss, which I've never seen.
Do you like Twister?
I like Twister.
But again, every one of these movies is gigantic.
They're all huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True Lies, I saw.
Giant
Lies is
movie.
awesome.
True Lies, I like.
He really knows how to use Arnold.
Yeah.
Titanic, obviously, I've seen it.
Right.
Awesome.
Avatar, which is his last movie, and that's from 2009.
That's
So
the-
he did
that's the first
Titanic
one.
and didn't do another movie until Avatar.
Yep.
Avatar
He
is
hasn't done
one of the
many
worst
movies.
movies I've ever seen.
Avatar is pure shit.
It's a horrible movie.
Avatar's bad.
I don't know why they're making sequels. I don't know who even remembers the movie. Like at the time, obviously, it's the biggest movie ever, right?
Yep.
As far as money,
No cultural
it
impact.
had no lasting impact at all. Like even the 3D shit, which was like the big selling point, the novelty of it. Nobody talks about this movie. Nobody cares about this movie.
No, it's not. It's not a strong story. It's
No.
like they wasted a
It's
lot
a
of good
rehash
animation for
that
nothing.
had been done better several times.
Yeah, exactly. They should have went
It's
somewhere else.
Blue Dances with Wolves
Yeah,
with, at the time, good graphics, but really the movie doesn't hold up.
Right.
but it
The
killed
reason
it.
the reason it's out there doing these sequels is because it made a shitload of money in China. China loved it. They were impressed by it.
So do you foresee a bomb here with this new one?
I don't think it's going to do that well domestically. Now, I'm sure when this comes out, I'm going to get punked. It's going to.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's going to do very well. It'll open #1. I do not foresee it making like $1 billion in America this time because I personally haven't spoken to many people who give a fuck.
No, who would?
I think in China it's going to do very well.
I fell asleep watching it. We
Yep.
saw it opening night.
Opening night.
Yeah.
I remember. I'll never forget this. It was opening night of the movie. This is going to
Packed theater.
This is the game changer for cinema.
Yeah.
Such a big deal. Like there's cinema before Avatar and after. And me and Ann are all jacked up, and we're sitting in the theater.
You guys are jokes.
Packed, sold out house, and we're sitting there. And within like 30 minutes of the movie, a guy in one of the front rows starts snoring so loudly, our theater started uproarious laughing. Do you remember that?
Yes. Yes, I do. And then I fell asleep.
Yeah.
I didn't make it through the whole movie.
It's just a bad movie.
It comes with his name, and he look at all the hits he had before then. So when Avatar comes out, it's like everyone has to see the new Cameron movie. It wasn't Avatar. It was we got to see what Cameron's bringing.
No,
again.
it was the 3D.
It's the 3D. It's the new technology.
You can say that, but it's coming off of Titanic.
Titanic.
It's not coming over Titanic. Titanic was
no, no.
was a decade and a half before.
Right, but it's I'm saying in his lineage of movies.
I guess, yeah.
You know, it's him.
Film people were like, okay.
He also
James
didn't make
Cameron.
a lot of money from
The
Titanic.
common man didn't give a shit that it was.
I was like, they're about to change cinema forever.
Right.
That's because that's how it was marketed.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, and I was like, everything is about to change forever. Like, we're going to be going to 3D movies that, like, the characters are in front of you doing the shit.
Right.
And it was like, okay.
The animation's great, but it's just the story sucked. That's all.
I remember like not even liking it, like as far as the visuals. Like it was just
No, the
uncomfortable.
visuals
It was
are good.
okay.
The visuals are good.
But, you know, I never need to see it
I
again.
never saw it again. I don't.
Me either.
You know, it just did nothing for me. But Titanic, on the other hand,
Titanic.
I've seen
So,
a
did you
million
see it in
times.
theaters?
I did not. My parents went to go see it without me. They left me with my grandmother that night. I was very upset.
Oh, yeah, you wanted to see
I wanted to see this so fucking bad.
it. You're in 3rd grade.
Yeah, because everybody, it was like I said, it's a cultural phenomenon. Everybody had to see it. And I was already like a little history guy. And my parents and grandmother had told me, and this is true as far as I know, that my grandmother's uncle died on the Titanic.
Whoa.
So I had to be like,
His
this
name
is-
was Jack Dawson.
He's not Jack Dawson. He's Burden, something Burden. I don't know. He's a 3rd class dude. So he went down with the ship. So yeah, I felt like I had to see
You
this.
had a
I had some
connection.
connection with
Yeah.
it. I did eventually see it on VHS. We got the double VHS tape.
Everybody
Same.
had that.
Yep.
Yeah, same.
Which cassette did you like better? VHS 1 or VHS 2?
Obviously two.
I like
because-
VHS 1 better because it has the tits in it.
The tits are in one. No, the tits are not in one.
The tits are in 1, I thought.
Nope, tits are in 2. Oh, you might be right.
I
The
don't
transition
remember,
was
but
the I'm flying Jack. That was the last moment on VH when it cuts and she's like, "That was the last time Titanic saw daylight."
then the tits are in 2.
Okay.
was the where they changed the tape.
So then we all agree that 2 is
Then
better.
2 is
VHS.
better, yeah.
This movie, I mean, everybody knows it. We're not going to spoil anything
Yeah.
for you.
Spoiler,
So,
the Titanic sinks.
It's like
You never know if you have
the
younger listeners.
dumbest fucking movie ever, but with absolute brilliance in it at the same
it
time.
sucks.
It does not suck.
It
I have
sucks.
to disagree with. First off, saying this movie sucks is just.
It's just wrong.
Flat out
You're
wrong.
just wrong.
You're just wrong.
It sucks.
And we'll get into it as we go. But saying it's the dumbest movie ever also is really stupid too.
It's dumb as
This
fuck.
movie is done.
The characters
Right.
don't behave like real people.
Very true.
It's shit. Again, this is the thing. I don't connect with Cameron.
Somewhat, I agree with you there, but we'll
It
get
is-
into it.
There's moments I
We'll get into
like.
it.
The sinking is perfect.
Yes.
It's historically perfect.
You're not
Yeah.
actually respecting for it. Is that the sets and the sequences, like the sinking sequences, those sets as well, are utterly fantastic.
I'm not going to dispute the tech.
It feels like you're on
There's
the
one
ship.
thing that I will give to Cameron always credit for. He is a technical master.
Yes.
All his shit is always polished, looks great. His sets are always amazing.
The graphics, like rewatching it, we've seen this 100 times. Seeing that ship rise out of the water and you see the propellers with the water dripping off, you are sitting there. You kind of lose your breath. You're like kind of like, holy shit.
Well, on
We
this
saw
last
the
one-
re-release.
We
if you
watched it in
remember.
theaters. Yeah, together.
on this last watch, I realized that the CG has definitely dated a bit.
Slightly.
Yes.
It's like PS1 graphics at this point,
It's still good though.
but it holds up completely. It's terrifying.
Yeah.
It's
Tragic.
Well, the
sad.
mix of practical with the
It's
actual
always the
shit
best.
is great.
Yeah. Yes, we went to the remaster. That is the last time I watched it in full.
Me
Same.
too.
Yeah, same.
We were laughing the whole time.
Well,
But
it was a giant, uproarious joke for us.
Well, it was the three of us in the theater
Right.
and like one other couple.
So Titanic is one of our favorite movies to talk about. We've been
we quote it all the time.
Yeah, we've been
Daily
on
basis.
this for decades. They re-released the movie in theaters in like 3D.
In 3D. Post Avatar.
Yes, and we could not wait to go. You know, the big romance movie, the three of us have to go see it. And we sat in the back, and I think there was like one other couple,
yeah.
in the theater. It's just it's empty theater, and we talked through the whole thing. Like
We just quoted the movie.
We did commentary for the movie for the whole.
We just did the show.
Yeah, we did the show. That was probably 10 years ago, right?
Yeah, it's probably like 2012 or 13, somewhere around there.
That's the
yeah,
last time
sounds
I
right.
watched it.
Me too.
That's all right. Rewatching it after all that time, I was still like, the movie ended. I'm like, this is just fantastic. Like
You
I
love
can't-
it
I
more
can't
than
imagine. I
everybody.
can't imagine anybody not liking it.
It's
if you're
infinitely
human.
watchable. It's
Yeah.
fun to watch.
It's
you
not
know?
only is it fun, it's sad. Like you don't have a good time at the end of that movie.
Yeah, I'm no, you're
Yeah.
wrong. You're wrong.
It has
Okay.
such an upbeat, jovial
It's
tone
so-
at the end.
At the end?
yeah.
The melodrama. I hate her.
All right,
Rose, all right,
we
wait,
have to
wait,
get into
hold on,
this.
wait,
We
wait.
have to get
All
into
right,
this.
such a
I hate
passion.
Rose. This is on this watch. I discovered she is one of the worst human beings
Yes.
in any movie ever. She is utter fucking garbage, and she's a completely unlikable character.
Terrible person. Yeah.
Throughout from point A
yes.
to point B.
Yes, absolutely.
But before we get into the movie, I got to talk about what this movie did to me
as a boy,
as a young boy.
As a young lad,
So I'm in 5th grade, and this
you
movie.
were not in 5th grade.
I was in 5th
I was
grade
in
when
5th grade when
this
this came out. He was in 3rd. I was
No,
in 5th.
you're
I think
wrong.
you
You're
were
in
6th.
4th. I was in 5th.
I was in 4th.
it's 97.
I was.
Does
in
it
5th
matter?
grade.
Doesn't matter. No.
I'm in 5th grade,
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
So this movie comes out, and I am like, holy shit. This is the big shit, and we got to go see it. And I see it in theaters, and I see on the big screen a giant pair of tits.
Yes,
And I am
they
like,
look great.
I'm like, holy shit. This is amazing. Now, I have seen tits before at this point.
Sure.
I have, me and Steve used to find his
course.
dad's penthouses and
Oh, yeah.
look at them.
Construction sites. We'd
Construction
find stuff.
sites,
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah,
I had
yeah.
seen my fair share, but I think when you're seeing them in motion and it's in a movie
You'd never seen a porno.
and it's lit, I haven't seen a porno.
Right.
The internet isn't like a
Yeah,
thing.
Right.
No.
And it's like, holy shit. It was a game changer. So I saw Titanic 4 times in theaters.
You made your parents take you.
Made my parents, if I was hanging out with friends' parents and like, what could we do? I was like, we could go see Titanic because I wanted to look at the tits again.
And nobody caught on. You know, it's funny you said. I remember my mom having a conversation with our neighbor, the Gerstel mother.
Okay.
Right? I'm going to give the name out.
Yeah, you shouldn't do that.
I don't care. They were talking, and the mom was saying that her son Joey, who was my age, he was like a year younger than me,
He doesn't stop beating off now.
he can't stop watching Titanic. He keeps putting it on in his room. And I remember thinking, like, I know he's watching it for the tits. I know this kid. He's a tit fiend. And yeah,
I think that's why it made so much money.
it's 100% why it makes so
Because
much
young boys who otherwise would have no interest were like, I'm going to see a great rack
Yes.
on screen and a little hint of bush.
Everyone talked about the tits. The tits were front and center.
It's the whole movie.
It's Titanic. You know what? Watching it the other day.
I'm surprised your drawing isn't just too circular.
That
The
would've been
scene
funny.
where she's in the water, not when they're like when the ship's when she's trying to rescue him when he's handcuffed, and she's kind of like wading through waist high water. It's up to her tits. Her tits look amazing.
It's just cleavage and rack and tits throughout the whole movie.
Yes.
It's the selling point.
It's totally the selling point.
Now, I'll tell you this.
Not Kate Winslet.
Now, in my head, lil 5th grade Brian, I'm like, rated R movies all have tits.
Not true.
Not true at all.
But that's what I think because I've seen Titanic. So I remember when the Nicolas Cage movie City of Angels came out. Now I would look in the
I want to
news.
see City of Angels.
I would look in the newspaper to see what was coming out and what was rated R.
No way.
And
You were so addicted to tits, you had to find them in cinema.
yes,
Why did you just go? Why did you rent fucking Fast Times?
I didn't know Fast Times had tits.
Well, you also couldn't rent stuff from if you're a kid. You have to have it with your parents and it's a thing.
My mom rented me Revenge of the Nerds, which is just a tit mania. When I was like 8 years old, it was awesome.
That's great. So I was like all about tits. And I remember I begged my friend's mother when Cities of Angels came out. I was like, we should all go see City of Angels.
Why do you just go to your friend's parents?
I think it may have been a thing where I don't want my parents to know.
No, you're
Right.
going after the tits.
Yeah, so we all went to see City of Angels. And I don't remember if there were tits in it or not.
No, I don't think so.
But I assumed all R-rated movies would have tits if they were romantic.
That was a great movie, City of Angels. That was the Goo Goo Dolls song.
I remember this is slightly similar. I remember seeing Pulp Fiction, which is the movie that like changed my life as far as
Movie
how
watching?
I feel about movies
Same.
and movie watching. And I loved it so much that I convinced myself that John Travolta was a great actor. So I demanded to
You and a lot of
to
other
see
people.
Michael.
I knew it.
Michael is so fucking bad. Did you ever see Michael, Fever?
No.
John Travolta is an angel. And he's just, but he's like a regular guy angel. He's walking around. And he's got big wings on his back.
Oh no. Oh, who do you like better as an angel, John Travolta or Nicolas Cage? Basically, the face-off of angels. Who do you like
my
better?
God. When was Nicholas? Oh, was he City
City
of
of
Angels?
Angels.
He was an angel in that?
Yeah. It's actually a remake of a German movie, Wings of Desire.
You bleed just to know you're alive because you have to jump off a building and kill yourself as an angel to become a human.
What was up with like the early 2000s?
What are you
and
showing
shit
me?
like that? Like Stigmata.
Am I looking at the drawing?
I don't know. There was like a weird thing. You know?
Show me the drawing here.
Yeah.
All right, it's clearly the Titanic, but it only has 2 windows. And I can only assume that's the iceberg,
That is the iceberg.
but it looks like Homer Simpson with an afro. You can kind of, I think I nailed that pretty
We're
pretty
doing
well.
Brian's doodle if you haven't figured
Yeah.
that out. Yeah, so that's a boat. I recognize that as a boat.
Titanic had more than 2 windows, Brian.
It's an artist rendering.
It's Homer
Brian-
Simpson with an afro.
Brian's iceberg to me looks like he tried, like when you're a kid and in your notebook you draw like dirty pictures and then you cross them out in case anybody sees them.
So it wasn't originally going to be the iceberg. That was me starting to do the Titanic.
So I was right.
And I was like, this isn't working. And then I turned it into the iceberg.
Yeah, you were just drawing
By the way,
tits.
the iceberg is larger than the Titanic, which maybe it was. It probably
Yeah.
It was, yeah.
But it's also completely out of the water. Like the water line below the water line is just like a little piece.
Well, yeah, that's
Yeah, it's like upside down.
So I guess we should get into
We
the
should
movie.
get into
all right.
it.
Let's
yeah.
start the movie.
Yeah, the ocean floor is terrifying. They'd let us know right off the bat.
Oh yeah, the rusticles.
well, we
I
see,
don't-
we
it's
see
scary.
We see old timey sepia footage
Yeah, it's
Yes.
cool.
of the Titanic. That's the first
You
shot.
hear the fucking song.
Yeah.
That song's good.
James.
No, it's
That
not
song's good. All right,
You
maybe
like
not
the song,
the,
Brian?
the nice little melody. The melody's good.
Dude.
Not My Heart Will Go On, the actual melody.
I know, but when they play the little themes of it throughout the movie, every time it happens, the Celine Dion comes in your head, and it's just like, this is so fucking cheesy.
It's a cheese fest.
It's a cheese fest.
Of course.
Yes.
I'm surprised he likes it and I hate it because
Well, I know he loves this movie.
yeah,
Oh, yeah,
but
it was my pick.
he always hates cheese. But in this movie, he's like, pile on the fucking cheese.
Yeah. Well, Beaver's
Well,
also.
I love a rom-com.
Beaver is also a romantic at heart.
Yes,
Okay.
I love a good rom-com. So if you give me cheese with romance, I could tolerate it. If you give me cheese with something that's supposed to be serious, I can't tolerate it. And romance shouldn't be that serious. But then the reason why I love this so much is you take that romance and that like cheesy, like wild fling kind of thing, throw it into something that is a tragedy, and it becomes something greater than it is, which we'll get into. And I think you both missed it towards the end, which I want to explain.
Just on the romance. Let's talk about the romance for a second.
Well, okay, we can talk about the romance. It's interesting.
Obviously, we're going to talk more about this, but
Yeah.
Rose is, she's lived an entire life.
Yeah.
You know, she's 90 something.
Yes.
She has children, grandchildren.
Yeah.
I'm sure she's had a husband.
Yeah.
Should I say it? Mr. Calvert.
Yes. Lived an amazing life.
Full life. Complete full life. Yes.
Her heaven, her version of heaven, is going back to a horrendous incident in her life where over 1,500 people died to fuck a guy she fucked one time on a boat.
Yep.
She's a piece of shit.
Yup.
I will counter your argument here. at the end.
She had a husband
Yes.
and children. She lived with this man for years and years and years. Decades. This man is in the afterlife waiting to see his
Yes.
love Rose again.
But she has to make a pit stop to fuck a 17-year-old on a boat.
And I
will
spoke with my
count-
wife.
And women find this to be a stunning romance.
So I spoke,
Why are women like this?
So I spoke to my wife. I was like, so if you died, right? If you died and you're waiting for me in the afterlife and then I die and I don't show up to you after we've lived together, we've had kids, all this, and I go and I'm like, I want to be with a girl I slept with when I was 17 years old. You would be like, that's cool. Awesome, Brian. No,
So
I would be a piece of shit.
I wanted to counter this idea.
that was more important than the life she built.
You guys are blew past the movie.
Yes, I know. But everyone's seen it. It doesn't matter.
I wanted to say this at the end. I guess I'll say it now to counter your arguments here. So throughout the movie, I'll kind of bring a couple of ideas into this. She's an idiot, and she should have got on the boat because they probably would have both survived. But she didn't want to go back to her past life. She wanted to start a new life where she felt happiness and blah, 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 whatever, right?
Yeah, we know.
Hold on. No, I let you talk. If you look at the end of the movie, Jack dies, spoiler, and she's lying in bed with her pictures.
Yes.
And it pans through all the pictures.
And it's the things they talked about.
The things
in
they
the beginning,
talked about.
yes.
So
Except she flew a plane for some reason.
I'm flying, Jack. She actually flew. She went ice fishing. She rode a roller coaster. She rode the horse.
Island.
So she lived a life that was reflective and respectable to the sacrifice that he made. Because the only reason she was alive was because he died. So he sacrificed himself for her. Therefore, she lived a life full to the fullest amount.
You're making a case for it.
I'm not done yet,
that.
motherfucker. Lived her fullest amount, died happy. She goes into the afterlife. The only reason she had that life was because of him. She thanks him, and then on her way
No.
to her husband.
There is no on her way to her husband.
Heaven was being on the Titanic.
Heaven,
Yes.
Heaven was thanking him for giving her a whole life.
No.
I don't
Heaven
know.
was, I'm spending my eternity
No,
with Jack.
That's your interpretation.
They make it
I have a
clear
different
that's her
interpretation.
afterlife.
I want to talk a minute about the movie The Notebook.
Okay, I've
Sure,
seen the
yeah,
Notebook.
Notebook is good.
Another world-renowned romance movie that women love, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just like Titanic. I have never seen The Notebook.
I have seen the Notebook.
However,
It's good.
I came home from work about a month ago, and my wife was watching The Notebook, and she loves The Notebook. So I got to see like the last 25, 30 minutes of it. Get him is here. What's up, Get him? Get him hates
Hates
The
The
Notebook.
Hey, The Notebook. Notebook's a good movie.
Why don't you wait for me forever? Be a stalker.
Notebook's a good movie.
I saw the last 25, 30 minutes. And in that time frame, the woman Rachel McAdams gets visited by her mother. Okay, and the mother takes her on a drive, and I guess the whole thing with her is that she doesn't approve of this guy,
Ryan
she's with.
Gosling.
Yeah, but she takes her on a drive, and she goes to like a work site, and they watch this older man shovel like coal. And she confesses to her daughter that she's been coming there for years and watching him because she had a fling with this guy when she was a young woman before she was with the husband, Rachel McAdams' father.
Yeah.
And like, I found that to be such a betrayal of her husband. I thought this mom is telling her daughter about what a piece of utter garbage she is. She shows, and it's supposed to be like this, oh, that's really sweet. No, it's horrific. This woman betrays her family every so often and longingly watches a man shovel coal because she used to like to fuck him. It's so fucked up. And women, and I'm talking this like while she's watching the movie, and she hates me now. She's like, why, you gotta ruin everything. It's like, no. This is how women think, and it's fucked up.
You're right. They don't think where it's like,
what's important? What do you value? Steven, defend The Notebook. Go ahead.
Well, do you want me to
Yes.
defend Rachel?
I don't
Like that
know.
story?
What, am I wrong in this?
well, the mother is
The mother's
doing
a
it.
different story. That's why I don't know.
The mother is doing it to show Rachel McAdams that, like, I didn't choose love.
I messed up.
I chose the money of your
Yeah.
father when I should have been with the coal guy.
Yeah.
And she
I
what?
sti-
She hates
and
her
I'm-
father?
Yeah, and I'm still not over the coal guy, so you got to go to your coal guy.
It's the same story that you're seeing here. Like Cal.
How does Rachel McAdams not hate her mom after this? What do you think, Get him?
Nicholas Sparks sucks.
Well, it's
Nicholas
kind
Sparks?
of.
He wrote the Notebook, and all
Isn't
he
it
wrote
the
a bunch
same-
of romantic
It's the same story
books.
here, right? Like Rose has a choice to stay with Cal or go with Jack. Cal is the safe bet.
Well, that's why I thought of this.
right. Like it's the same thing. Only she didn't leave to go with Jack. She stayed with Cal, and she was miserable her whole life. That's the whole point.
But she what? Oh, God. Okay.
Cal is not a bad guy.
Cal's the fucking hero of the movie.
Yes.
Cal is a good man.
Jack is garbage. Rose is shit.
Yes. Well, Jack is Jack. I don't have a problem with Jack. And
Jack
what
Well,
just
Jack's
wanted to
doing
get
what he
it in.
does.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cal is a man who's having his wife stolen from him and getting cucked left and right and being treated like he's shit. And all he's trying to do is save his fiance.
And be rich and provide for her.
Yes, and then saves a child at the end that would have been killed. You know, for years,
yeah.
I thought he was a bad man
Yeah.
who snuck onto the boat. No, that kid was crying by herself and was gonna die. Yeah, he saved himself, but he also saved the fucking kid.
I think she died.
No.
Oh, she got in the boat with him.
No, the boat capsized. The boat capsizes, and he's walking around the boat hitting people off of it. Remember?
No, dude.
No, he saves her.
No, dude. That's how he gets. Cal gets on the lifeboat with the kid.
No, I know, but as the boat's going down, they can't. They're trying to cut the rope, and it's kind of wobbling, and it almost flips over and capsizes. A bunch of people fall off.
No, you're thinking of two different boats.
No, it's the same boat.
No, you're wrong.
Yeah, you're wrong, Steve.
Okay. Well, that's why we got to go through this.
All right, let's fucking do this.
Yeah, we got to go in. Like, let's do the
We're
movie.
still
We're
at
into
the
the movie.
beginning of the
Let's do
movie.
the movie.
All right. So Bill Paxton is there, and he's like, April 15th, 1912, it crashed. They're launching Duncan.
Duncan rules.
From a Russian boat. I never realized it was a Russian boat before. Why?
I don't know.
Why have it as that? Get him. Just sit down.
Hashtag Cal is a cad. Hashtag Cal is a hero. All right, so get him.
Decide.
Yeah, you know what, listeners? Good idea from Get him. If you are Team Cal, hashtag Cal is a hero. If you're on the side of truth and justice like me and Ant, and if you're a fucking cuck like Beaver, you can write hashtag Cal is a cad.
I didn't say anything about him being a bad guy.
We're just putting the words in your
I didn't
mouth
say
now.
anything.
All right, hashtag Rose is a cunt.
Sure.
Hashtag
okay.
Rose is good. We want both those hashtags. Let us know. You can comment on the
He's a
Instagram,
cad.
the Twitter.
You know what we can do? We can make a poll. Make a little poll.
Oh,
and you can
okay,
pick,
yeah.
You know?
Good idea.
All right.
All right. So
Duncan rules. It's a little robot
Yeah,
with
that's
hands.
cool,
It's
and
a
that's
cool
how
robot.
they did it. You know, like
Yeah.
I remember when they used to do these Titanic documentaries every 15 minutes back then. It was always like the robot going around the ship, looking at fish, looking at rusticles.
I like they add
Fish is
these,
putting ice cream on his forehead.
like sound effects. They show the piano and you hear piano playing like ghosts, kind of.
yeah,
I
it's
like
very
that
cool.
effect.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
Looks great.
Yep.
Very exciting
There's
stuff.
early foreshadowing.
Yep.
Watch the door frame
Yeah.
as
Yes.
they're putting the
Yep.
probe through.
Yes.
So there's Snoop vision, which is what the guy is looking through.
Yes.
Now, I thought Snoop vision is what happens when you get really high and you see through the eyes of a 90s gangster rapper
Well,
who now does kids animated movies.
As you know, in Girls Gone Wild commercials from the mid 2000s, every so often Snoop would
You're
take
right.
control of the camera,
You're right.
and things would get real wild.
Yeah.
That was Snoop vision, right?
Yes, that was
AKA
Snoop.
they'd sit on a couch and eat potato chips. Sick.
So they find the safe and it's empty
They
with moldy
celebrate a
papers.
little too early. They're all
Yep.
popping champagne, and it turns out, nope, there's just some drawings.
Yeah, how do you not open it before you make a fool of yourself?
He pulls a Geraldo, and they even
and they
mention
even
it.
make the reference. Yeah.
So Bill Paxton, what do you think about him?
Well, here's the thing with this particular Bill Paxton movie. It's the same thing as Twister.
Yes, it's the same character.
It's the same characters. He's got a ragtag group of science guys, but they're like crazy science.
They're wild. They're all talking about like boom.
Yeah. Guy curses.
Yeah.
He's the Dusty of the sea.
Scientists don't do that. They must be punk rock.
The Dusty of the Sea.
Yeah.
He has a smiley face shirt with a headshot.
Yeah.
And, he's on TV for some reason.
Is that not the Watchman?
No, the Watchman is a bloodstain. This is a smiley face that got a headshot.
Oh, okay.
It looks like Watchmen. At
thought it
first,
was the Watchmen.
at first I thought it was, but then I examined it and it's not.
So we see an old Rose doing pottery.
Well, they pull the thing out, and it's the drawing, right?
It's the drawing.
And then
yeah.
it's on. Yeah, she's doing pottery.
They show that we found it.
By the way, women in their 90s, I've known a few of them. They don't do pottery. They sit and they vegetate.
They wait to die.
yeah.
Not only she's going to be, I think, 101.
Oh yeah, you're right. She's not in the 90s.
Yeah,
she's 100.
101.
101.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is not
Mentally still there. Can recall detailed information about like 80 years ago or whatever it is at this point.
84 years specifically.
Okay. So on the news, they show the sketch.
That whore is me, sweetie.
The old lady is a horrible actress.
She stinks.
She stinks, right?
Yes.
Thank you. She sucks.
I don't know.
Do you
Does
think do you think it's a good performance?
There's not a lot.
Every line of dialogue is so fake and artificial.
She delivers
whole movie's
dialogue
like that.
like she's an actress from the 20s. Do you realize that?
Yes, you're right.
She
Well-
talks like this.
Well, she was an actress in.
Probably. She was probably an actress in the 30s.
She was in The Invisible Man, the 1930s
No
Invisible
shit.
Man.
Well, that explains so much because that's her delivery. She's talking like this.
Did you mean that we do it?
Yes.
Yeah.
You bet your bottom dollar we did.
You know
it.
what line? You know what? She actually delivered good. He exists now only in my memory. Like the last line is
That's
actually
not bad.
That she delivered that good.
Right. He exists now only in my memory.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, you're
glo-
right. She's a 30s actress.
That's Gloria Stewart. And it's fine when you're watching a period piece. But when I'm watching a movie from 1997,
And she's talking like Amelia Earhart. It's a little weird.
yeah, it's just so artificial.
Are you ready to go back to Titanic? They just throw her overboard.
So now, this is the framing piece of the movie.
This is fantastic.
This is everything. This whole shit.
This shot is fucking awesome.
No, I'm not. We're not there yet.
I love it.
We're not there yet. But it makes no goddamn sense. No one in their right mind is flying this old codger out to this ship in the middle of the Atlantic.
100-year-old woman.
She's getting on a helicopter.
And goldfish.
Right. With goldfish and
it's
all
all-
this
and it's all-
luggage.
All her
Yeah.
belongings.
Yeah, all belongings. Yeah.
They know nothing from her. It's literally she's flying to tell a story.
They
Yeah.
couldn't have done it over a phone.
Yes.
Nope.
This would have been a phone call. And the entire time.
Or they would fly out to meet her.
Right.
You know?
And the entire time they just go, yeah, we don't care about any of this. Shut up. Where's the diamond? They don't care. They sit and listen for 3 hours. No one's doing that.
Captivated, utterly captivated.
Yes. In fact, when we first come back to them after the long stretch, they're all like gathered around. Oh my God!
They get
you fucked in a car, you old lady.
They get more raptured with her every fucking
Yeah.
sentence.
It's crazy. Human beings don't act.
They
like
get
this.
lost in the story. And
Just like
so
you.
do we. Because if you, at one point during the movie, you're sitting there like, they're on the Titanic, this is happening, and it cuts back to a lady, you're like, oh, fuck, I actually forgot she was telling this. Like, I completely, you forget that she's telling it because it's such a non-factor,
guess.
you know?
Would the movie have been better if they cut the modern day stuff out completely?
I wondered that.
I don't think so.
You felt you needed
I
it?
think you need somebody telling the story and recapturing what happened.
Then the
because
story
that's why
doesn't work.
That's why they're so enamored.
If you need the framing device, then the story isn't good.
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
What do you mean by that?
So if you're saying that the story of Rose and Jack and the Titanic is not good without the framing device,
I think the whole
then it's not good.
the whole movie stands on its own without the framing device.
I think it could work.
I think it makes it better.
I don't dislike the framing device that much. It just makes no sense. Like it's
logically,
you
sure,
have to
yeah.
jump through mental hoops to see people act like this. Like it adds this whole thing with the diamond that nobody actually gives a shit about. Like as an audience member,
It's a MacGuffin.
right?
Yeah.
Because the movie's not about that. It's about the story we hear, right, from
The
her.
love story.
Well, isn't that also similar to her life? Doesn't that represent her life?
The diamond.
Right. Like, so there's this diamond that's worth millions of dollars that these people are all looking for. She was worth millions of dollars that everyone's looking for. And realistically, all they got was a love story. But they still were happy that they got that story. That's the whole point.
Do you want to dance?
Well, that's not in the movie.
I know.
So thank God we'll talk about that.
We'll get there.
But no, there's that parallel between the people looking for the money and she's been through it. So she came there to be like, oh, I know where the diamond is. Realistically, she's like, I'm about to tell you what is
I
actually
do like
important.
that you're here to try and give sense to the stupidity.
Does that not make sense?
It needs a
It's a
defender.
good case. It's a good case. I'll give it to you.
I made two good cases so
Yeah.
far. So I think you two are just cold-hearted.
No,
You
your
can't-
other
you
case is
can't
garbage
feel
and
love.
indefensible.
Yeah.
We get an amazing transition. This is the thing I was talking
So when the
about.
story, when she starts
This
talking,
was if you don't think this was an awesome scene, fuck you.
it's been 84 years.
It's been 84
Yeah.
years.
Do you want to hear the story or not?
Yeah. And then you get that, you see this Russian
Ship of
ship that
dreams.
just turns into this gigantic, like,
CGI mess.
bustling scene of.
But it looks
No,
great.
It
It looks
wasn't
great.
all CGI.
The ship was.
The ship was, but you got a lot of practical
Yeah.
effects here, which I think blended really well.
And we get Billy Zane.
Yes.
Zane has
Billy
so many
Zane.
singers.
He is the best thing in the movie.
He's so good.
No, he's not.
He's so good.
Oh, no?
Billy Zane, I like him. I like his character. His acting stinks. He's
agree.
over the top and ridiculous through the whole movie. God
himself could not sink the ship.
She's over 100 feet longer than the Carpathia Rose. You can be shrill about some things, but not Titanic.
Every character is over exemplified from what they are.
Yes.
Every character.
Every character.
Now, does that fall on the director?
Yes.
Thank you.
But is it on purpose, is the question.
Yes. He's directing them to do this.
Yes. He stinks in this. What else has he ever been in?
Zane?
Other than Zoolander.
Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. He's in Back to the Future 2.
Phantom.
Oh, no, 1.
One.
The Phantom,
He's
right?
3D.
Yeah.
The Phantom.
He's in Phantom.
Oh, right. The Phantom.
Yeah.
He was a superhero. Yeah. Anything else?
Mummy?
No, that was
That's
Brendan
another guy.
Fraser.
No. The bad guy looks like him.
No,
It's not him. Yeah. It's,
Oh, when he's bald.
It looks like him. Yeah.
he's in Tombstone.
He's in a couple. he's in
Oh,
a
okay.
lot of
That's a
things,
good
yeah.
movie.
He's in Back to the Future too.
Okay. All right. Zane. He's a household name now because of this movie and only this movie.
Basically.
Yeah.
Listen to your friend Billy
And
Zane. He's a
Zoolander.
cool
Yeah,
guy.
And Zoolander. Zoolander really.
I love that line.
We get Kate Winslet.
Oh, gosh, she's
Now-
gorgeous in this.
Kate Winslet is, right from the get-go, she's angry to be going on Titanic and back to America
Well,
in chains.
Thank you.
Yes.
Titanic was a ship of dreams, but for me it was a prison ship bringing me back to America in chains.
Yes. I don't understand her plight, really. And maybe that's
They
because I'm
explain
not a
it.
teenage girl.
They explain it later in the movie.
Yes.
Her mother is basically making her marry
Cal.
Cal,
forced to marry,
so
right, yeah.
they don't lose their family fortune.
That's a
Yes.
horrible thing.
Yes.
That's basically slavery.
You're right.
But this was not uncommon back then.
No,
no, but that
certainly
doesn't
not.
mean people liked it.
You know what else is not? You know what else isn't good? Starving to death from being poor.
Yeah, that's not good either, but that doesn't mean you have to enjoy it.
No. Look, I get why she would be upset about that.
I actually don't understand why anyone would be confused about that.
You don't
make a good
until
case
you
here.
just said it. I don't know if it ever clicked with me that she was getting married specifically for like it was being pushed upon her.
Well,
like,
they brush it over for 90% of the movie, and it's
Right.
mentioned briefly in one scene.
Right.
So if you're just watching
like the
this,
suicide that's coming shortly, the suicide attempt. We don't get any of that.
Rose is
It's literally like she feels like she's caged because she's so privileged.
yes,
That's what they play the movie as.
yes,
Yeah, she says she sees her whole life in front of her, and it's just the same thing on
I'm
repeat.
just so rich
It's the same
and
thing on
so
repeat.
well off
Yeah.
that
I
my
must
life
kill
sucks.
myself.
Yes. It's like, what?
It sucks having all this great art around me and everything
Yes.
I could ever want.
Right.
Ugh, my life is garbage.
And that is like money doesn't buy you happiness kind
I
of thing.
understand that.
Like you're taking
Bullshit.
like the most basic principles of human existence don't apply here. I don't understand that. How do you not see that?
But is it not hard for you as a man who is not of insane means to be like, oh, poor little rich girl, which is literally what she says in the movie to Jack. And that is correct. That is the correct stance to take.
Well, no,
Yes.
that's because everybody that she's spoken to responds like that. Where she's like, I actually am
But
not
that's the
happy. And it's like,
proper
well,
response
why are you
as
not
a
happy?
human
You're
being.
rich. And it's like,
That's
well,
not that she's not happy. It's literally she's upset because she's rich. She'd much rather be the wife of a transient. You know?
I think she doesn't have freedom.
All right, hold on, hypothetical.
That's the problem.
Wait, let's do a hypothetical. Jack and Rose both make it.
Yes.
They both live.
There's no way this is lasting more than 3 hours.
Okay, thank you. They would not have a good life together.
She would never put up with it. She's not fucking gallivant, like just hanging out under a bridge.
Her next husband isn't a transient.
No.
He's like a man who
He's a
like
businessman. She became an actor. She went and
She was
did
an actress,
stuff. Yes.
yeah.
She went to Hollywood.
But
you
she
know?
lived her own life.
I know she lived her own life.
She could have went back to Cal.
No, but she didn't want to go back to Cal.
Right. So
I
she
get
didn't want to
that.
be with him to begin with.
Yes.
So
And she wanted to do it on her own terms.
Yeah.
Great.
that was the
awesome.
whole point of the
But
thing.
Jack is a guy who wants to live under a bridge and travel from town to town
And paint
drawing
naked
people.
girls.
Yes.
Yes, he enjoys being free.
She ain't doing that.
No. She saw the life she wanted in him. That's all. She wants that freedom. She doesn't have it, and she's almost envious of that freedom. Not even almost. She is.
Yeah.
So
But it's not about. But it's. She
didn't-
doesn't want freedom.
that's
She
the
wants.
whole
She
point.
wants to be with Jack. She's in love with Jack.
Yeah, and what he represents is freedom. Like she's in love with that.
Like I said, if they make it, this ship doesn't sink. They're not staying
No,
together.
they're not staying together for more.
They're
than
not
a
building a
month.
life together.
Yes.
Sure. Hypothetically, you could say that. You could also say they're going to build a life together, and he's going to get a job because he loves. Like you could. That's just bullshit.
So Jack is going to die on the inside and give up everything he wants and believes for Rose.
Maybe.
Maybe
Possible.
he fucking killed himself.
More likely.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jack actually is the kind of asshole that would do that. I quit drawing. I got a job at the office.
I work at the mill.
Well, speaking of Jack, we actually get introduced to him in a card game.
Yes.
Yes. All right, let's talk about it.
And the character that set my people back at least a decade.
Yeah, Yes.
Who is a better representation of your people? Paolo in House of Gucci or Fabrizio?
Fabrizio.
Me, I go to America.
Fabrizio, I will take Fabrizio over Paolo 100%.
What about you?
Pasta vazul.
Bastardo! I go to America.
Because your mom's gonna be missing you. Oh my God. Fabrizio is so much worse.
Okay.
So much worse than Paolo.
Leo.
Paolo's like an eccentric individual, you know? Fabrizio is a totem for
He's a
all
cartoon.
Italians. Yes. Right. He represents the 1900s Guinea.
This is what James Cameron thinks of your people.
Yes, it is.
I like that version.
All right. What do you think of Leo's performance in this? I don't think it's good.
It's not great. He is a teenager, right? How old is he in this movie?
He's
His
young.
character or himself?
Well, his character is definitely a teenager. I don't know about himself. Well, is he? I don't know. How old is his character? Is he 20?
You could assume he's like 19, 20.
He's far
She's
more,
17.
He's far more worldly than he could ever actually be in real life with his youth. You know?
Living in Europe.
Leonardo DiCaprio was born in 1974. So he is, let's say,
Oh, so he's in his 20s.
he's in his 20s.
Yeah.
Okay. He's fine. There's no really standout moments where I think he's terrible, except the one scene. I mean, we're gonna get to it, but I think it's when he's handcuffed to the thing and she's got the axe.
Yes.
And he just keeps saying her name over
Rose,
and over
Rose, Rose.
over. No, like he's not saying Rose. He's like he's saying sentences, but he adds Rose where it doesn't belong.
Yes.
Why did they write it like that?
What?
Okay,
Yeah.
Rose, you go over there, Rose, and come back here, Rose, and then
Yup.
you take the axe, you practice with it, Rose, and then swing it again, Rose.
Yup, 100%. I noticed that as I was watching
Yeah.
it. He kept saying Rose at the end of every sentence
Yes.
In that scene, yeah.
Again,
Yeah.
this is the writing and directing.
of James Cameron. Again, people don't talk like this.
Yeah.
So then he's going to America
They
with
beat Sven.
Fabrizio, and Sven punches his friend for losing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, for betting with nothing.
Betting the
betting-
tickets.
yeah.
He bet the tickets.
Yeah.
Which he should be sucking his friend's dick.
He will later.
Yeah, like in like a couple of days. So
Yeah,
there-
he has to look at his friend at the bar with the black eye.
I'm sorry. You were right.
I'm sorry.
I fucked up, man.
I was in the moment, and you saved my life. Guy's just looking at him.
So they're talking about the Picasso art, which is a joke for the modern audience.
Yes.
This,
Won't amount to anything.
this Picasso, and you're supposed to be like, yes, he will. I know.
I know Picasso.
He
I've
becomes
heard of him.
successful.
Yes.
And I think it also shows that his character, Cal, he's wealthy, he's rich, he comes from money, but he's not the savviest.
Yes, you're supposed to see.
That's what
Oh,
you're
he's a
supposed to say.
buffoon.
He
Yeah.
doesn't understand
He doesn't
art.
understand art. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Art-
me,
Right.
guy who's heard of
That's like the
Picasso
point.
once and never
Yeah.
actually, I couldn't identify a Picasso if my life depended on it.
Oh, yeah, you
but
could.
I've heard that name, so I know better than Cal.
Yup. Art is what's really important.
And we get this cool ship starting scene. Like in the boiler room, they're shoveling
Well,
coals.
before that, we
Oh,
need
yeah.
Molly Brown.
Ah, the
Molly
unsinkable
Brown's
Molly
great.
Brown.
What an annoying character.
Molly Brown rules, fuck you.
Molly Brown, the real Molly Brown. Do you know how she got the name?
She's
I suppose I should save it for later.
No, all right.
I'll save it for later
Okay.
because it does come into play.
So the ship is leaving off.
I like Molly Brown.
Yeah,
I don't
she's
like
good.
her. The ship is leaving off the coast of Ireland,
The ship left Southampton, which is in England.
Southampton Dock.
Yes, with a handkerchief and a summer frock, clings to her wet body in the rain. It left Southampton, went to Cherbourg, and then to Queenstown, which is in Cork, Ireland.
That's
Then-
where my ancestors are from.
And we skip all of
mine
that in the movie. We warp from Southampton out to the Mid-Atlantic.
Okay.
But they do mention that there were some stops, don't they?
There was one stop.
There were two stops in real life.
No, in the movie. Like they show them like docked
Right.
and waiting, and then that's about it. If we were like the three of us were back then on the Titanic, because we would probably be in the engine room, right? We're poors.
Yeah, we're not.
Yeah, we're not even third class. We're
aristocracy.
We're shoveling coals into.
Oh,
that
you want to
pit.
be part of the crew?
I don't want to be part. What else would we do?
I like to think I would get in an adventure with a rich girl.
Stop, you're a poor.
And I would be drawing her and
You
sketching
can't
her.
draw.
That's what makes it funny. I really just want to look at tits.
Yeah, all you do is just draw circles.
Yeah.
Circles.
As far as Titanic
These are really good.
and
Two
the White
circles.
Star Line is concerned, you know, you've got these opulent first class, accommodations that are just insanely just perfect for like this Gilded Age aristocracy, right? But that's not the moneymaker on the ship. The ship is primarily an immigrant ship.
Yes.
There's over 1,000 passengers that are just poor, not necessarily poor, but there is a second class which is very overlooked.
Well, no one cares about that. No one cares about the middle class.
Right.
Now I watch.
There's the second class, there's the third class, and these are the primary customers of the White Star Line. These are people in the
bigger
bowels of the ship
population.
that they're booking passage from Europe to America. It's the age old,
But one
story.
first class passenger pays for what? How much more?
The same as probably like 100.
Yeah, exactly.
It's something
Like-
crazy.
So it probably evens out. When
But again, they're
cost-wise.
spending a lot more money keeping the first class entertained, aren't they? It's the constant
They need
brandy and
opulence.
cigars,
debate
and
about that.
accommodations, the butlers.
Yeah, because when you think about what like the presentations was for like meals and everything, like you said, like the alcohol and that's all included. I watch, and you do too, Tasting History with Max
Yes.
Miller.
Great show.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, give it a watch. I'll give a little shout out to the guy. He's great.
YouTube.
He did an entire Titanic series.
Okay.
And he did the lower class passenger dishes, the middle, and the upper.
Ah,
The lower class dishes looked fantastic.
this is very interesting.
Yeah. They
like
looked
to go watch this.
legit delicious to where it's like it's better than most of the stuff that we eat. The lower class. So just to give you an idea of like how luxurious this thing was.
Because
Even for the lower class, it was still pretty good.
what's the selling point of the Titanic? It's the most luxurious ship ever built.
Right.
So even the steerage
Is pretty good.
above the steerage of another ship.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
know.
I highly recommend giving that a watch. It's
Yeah, I'm
really
gonna check
interesting.
that out. That
Yeah.
sounds cool.
So I did want to bring this up at one point. Have you guys heard the conspiracy theory? I'm sure you have.
The U-boats.
That the Titanic did not sink.
Are you bringing this up because I told you about it, or?
I didn't know you told me about it. When did you tell me about it?
So my father believes this, and one time I went to his house, and he just blurted it out of nowhere, and I'd never heard of this before.
Okay, I love this conspiracy
He just
theory.
goes,
I didn't hear
the
this.
Titanic never sank.
Yes.
What?
And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And he
No
sat
fucking way.
He sat me down and he made me watch like an hour-long documentary about how this is an elaborate hoax.
It was the Olympic.
YouTube documentary.
So there's a sister.
No, this was a professionally made thing that was on like the History Channel.
Oh my
So
god.
there's a sister ship called the Olympic,
Yes.
which they look identical. And the theory is that
Slightly smaller than
slightly smaller. The
You'd
theory
never
is
know just looking at
that J.P. Morgan, they were both at the same dock.
it. J.P. Morgan owns the White Star Line.
Yes.
Just point that out.
Yes, J.P. Morgan Chase owns the White Star Line. He switches the names of the two ships.
Well, you need the backstory here. Olympic, when it was in New York, I don't subscribe to this, by the way.
Okay.
I just know about it.
It's interesting.
Yes, the Olympic was in New York, weeks before the Titanic's launch, and it collided with another ship.
It had a crash.
Yeah, and it was irreparably damaged. Well, not irreparably damaged. It was damaged to the point where fixing it would
Be astronomical.
would be would cost more than the worth of the ship.
Okay.
So they limped it back to England. I believe Captain Smith, was the captain of the Olympic at
He
the
was.
time. He has a very spotty track record.
He sucks.
He's like a disaster in like 30 years of service. So they brought it back to England, and rather than
Scuttle the ship.
they switched the names.
They put like
Olympic
a
and
fresh
Titanic.
coat of paint on it.
Right.
They switched the names. The Olympic is now the Titanic and vice versa.
Right.
Nobody would know from the naked eye. Now, it should be noted, J.P. Morgan Chase was supposed to board the Titanic that day. All his business rivals went
Why
on
do you
the
call him
Titanic.
Chase?
J.P. Morgan Chase, right?
That's
the name of the
That's the
bank.
modern company. It's J.P. Morgan.
J.P. Morgan,
The House of
yeah.
Morgan. It's a giant banking guy.
I thought he was also Chase.
No, that's just
That
that's
when they
just-
broke
yeah.
the monopoly, in like decades later, Chase became.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought it was the same thing.
He
So-
was known for like consolidating floundering business. Like he bought all the railroads. He bought Carnegie Steel. He bought the White Star Line. He tried to do in shipping what he had done for railroading. And he was supposed to be on the Titanic.
He was supposed to be on the Titanic.
Yeah, that I've heard.
Hours before, he didn't get on. All his business
This is
rivals.
the richest man on earth.
Yeah.
Yes,
all
I've
his
heard
business
this.
rivals are on,
John Jacob Astor.
and the ship sinks.
Yeah, I heard this.
And he's able to write it off as a massive loss.
So in the thing I watched, they were saying that like the Titanic was supposed to sink, and there would be like a ship waiting nearby to pick up everybody, so that they didn't die. It was a big insurance scam.
Okay.
Now there is a ship nearby when the Titanic sinks. It's
3
17
hours
miles away.
away.
It's called the Californian, the USS Californian. This is not in the movie at all. This really happened, and I will go into detail with this when we get to it.
Okay.
And I don't think many people know about this.
The California.
Yeah.
I didn't know about the California.
You're gonna find this interesting.
Okay. But I do find this to be a very interesting conspiracy theory that I personally love.
It's very fun.
I could totally believe it.
That's more believable than the U-boat conspiracy.
For sure. I think so.
Because that just, no.
Did you know Titanic had another sister ship that was built after it?
Britannic?
Britannic.
Yes.
And that became a hospital ship in the First World War, and I believe it was torpedoed.
Yeah.
What do you think about the Andrea Doria?
I'm getting an erection talking about this much transportation. I gotta say,
George.
this is my dream come true.
All right. So
We get the famous line.
I'm the king of the world, which James Cameron shouted when he won the Oscar for Best Director.
He did?
Yeah, it's so
Oh, that's
douchey.
cringy.
It's so cringy. He's a cringe lord.
Well, do you remember, this is years ago, I found a video. I can't find it anymore. I've tried. On Instagram. It was like some diplomat, a woman, who's like had done like peace talks between, I think, like Palestinians and Israelis. And she was saying that she went into the room with these people and she got them to talk to each other, and she credited it with, they all saw Avatar.
Yes.
What?
And James Cameron, she was telling this to James Cameron, and James Cameron's just sitting there like, well, that makes sense.
Yes. I remember this.
Oh my God.
He's a douche lord, man.
So, interesting thing about this, James Cameron was on the Joe Rogan podcast, and he explained about how like his experience with the Titanic movie and the fame, and how he actually did not make a lot of money off of it.
No,
at
the
first.
studio like owned everything.
Yeah, yeah.
And I
Well,
think,
the filming was a disaster.
Yeah.
They were like behind and over budget.
I think he needed like so many extensions on it and everything that he ended up like giving up a lot of
$8
the
million
profit he would have made.
He gave up $8 million to part of his salary just to finish the movie, which paid off because he then took percentage points in it and made like a ton. But he was ready to basically go broke to finish it.
This was his dream. This is passion.
it's his passion project.
Right.
Yes.
It's just true art.
As
Ridiculous it is true art.
Avatar is his passion project
Yes.
too. His stupid blue cat movies. They're his passion projects.
So now we're on the boat.
Yeah.
We're on the boat. He does the I'm the king of the world thing.
And then you kind of see the contrast of her life now, right?
Well, they find their quarters. The guy asks where Sven is. I always like that.
Where's Sven?
We say it like that, but it's not in English. It's
No,
just
it's not.
the
It's Swedish,
subtitles.
but I say it all the time.
Yeah, where's Sven? But he doesn't say that. The subtitles say it.
So then Molly Brown is being an annoying big mouth, and Rose is just being a complete bitch at dinner.
Oh, she makes a dick joke.
Yes, she makes a good dick joke.
She makes a dick joke to Bruce Ishmay.
What a pistol.
Bruce Ishmay. He is the chairman of the White Star Line. It's essentially his ship.
Yes.
He's the guy with the mustache that's like broken at the end as he's on the
he's
boat,
Van
right?
Pelt
It's
from
basically-
Jumanji.
Okay, Van Pelt. Yeah.
Basically credited for making the entire ship sink.
He gets that reputation.
Yeah.
When does the scene happen? It's not yet where he's talking to Captain
Not
Smith.
yet, no.
So we'll talk about
We'll
that
get
in a
there.
minute.
But I noticed that I think Billy Zane was wearing eyeliner, and I'm pretty sure he was. I couldn't keep looking. Like I swear to God, I think
You
he's
calling
wearing
Billy
eyeliner.
Zane a dandy?
I think he was a little feminine in the movie. Yeah, I think so.
Are you saying hashtag Cal's a dandy?
I might have to say it. Yeah, I might have to.
Not my Cal. My Cal's a man's man.
We're supposed to love Mr. Andrews. Right?
Yes.
You do.
Yeah.
He's good.
He's great. We all love Andrews. He's the designer of the ship. He's the head engineer.
They definitely portray him as being someone who tried to prevent disaster at every cost, and he was just overruled. That's what they say in the movie. I don't know if that's the case.
Well, he
in real
really
life.
wouldn't have had a say in any of that.
Well, he designed the ship.
He did design the ship, but he's not in charge of who's running it and what it's doing.
No, he later on the deck, he says he wanted to create lifeboats that stacked, but the administration said it was too cluttered.
Yeah.
So he would have saved all their lives.
I think
basically
they're like walking around the ship, and Rose points out the
Yes.
lifeboat situation. So here's the vaunted lifeboat thing.
Yeah.
This is later.
It's later. Yeah, we're
Is
just
it?
yeah, it's
Yeah.
way later. We'll
Okay.
get there.
All right.
But we
wait
can
then.
talk about it right now.
Well, the lifeboat thing, yeah, there were enough lifeboats for less than half of the people on the ship.
Yeah.
It was completely legal at the time. This was not a violation of any kind.
Yeah.
And the thinking behind that was you have all these modern engineering feats, things like watertight doors and such, which we'll get into later, that are supposed to slow down how fast the ship will sink. So theoretically, you will only need the lifeboats long enough because the ship isn't going to sink so fast that you can't get help.
you can be rescued.
Right. So
yeah.
another ship will come and
You'll use the
and
lifeboats to ferry over.
That's what they're for.
Right.
They're not for to like survive on. They're to just put people on so that they can get to another ship
Boy, were they wrong.
in the end. And this led to a lot of laws changing.
And we have Rose kind of like walking out of her little dinner party or
Yes. And
brunch.
Jack sees her for the first time, and he's just staring at her.
In that moment, he's like, I'm
Have
gonna-
angels fly out here,
Tommy's great.
token Irishman.
Yes.
We have representation here. He knew in that moment he was going to get it.
He's like, I'm going to do whatever I have to do to get it in on her.
Yeah.
So
Say
then-
whatever he has to
So
say.
then later that night, he's laying on the ship, smoking a cigarette.
Yes.
And
being cool.
He's being
Looking
cool.
like a Backstreet Boy because it's 1997 and he has that fucking haircut.
Yep. And Rose is going to jump off the ship.
Yes.
You jump, I jump. It's an iconic scene.
Yes.
Yep.
The propellers.
Slips. She
Yes.
slips, and he catches her after a little conversation about how cold the water is, which kind of
It's foreshadowing.
it's
Excellent
foreshadowing. And it
Yes.
actually sounds really, really scary.
It's a great plot. It's like a great setup.
Have either of you ever been on a cruise ship?
Yes.
No.
You have, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, me too.
I went on one cruise,
At night, it's fucking terrifying.
Did you make Titanic references?
of course.
The whole time.
I said I'm the king of the world.
Oh, you did? In the front?
In my defense, I was not even 18 years old yet. I was, I think, 15.
I think it would have been funnier if he just let her go. Just
Just dropped her.
just dropped her.
Butterfingers.
I'm involved now.
Involved now.
I'm so fucking cool.
And then you get they fall over, she yells, people, what's all this? What's all this?
sin?
They think he's trying to rape her,
Yes.
Yeah, rightfully so too.
and he's going to
Lady
be
fell
arrested.
so suddenly, and yet you had time to remove your boots and your coat.
Jacket. It's like, oh, this guy's smart.
Spicer.
Spicer Lovejoy.
What a name.
What a name.
General Chang.
Also, the bad guy in Tron.
Yes.
I don't think I've never seen Tron.
He was there off 4 lights.
Yes, you're right.
Oh yeah.
Recently passed away.
Yes.
Every
Warner,
time
please.
I see you, I'll just see
A little boy.
boy.
Fucking David Warner. Not Joe. Was he General Chang? No, he was Chancellor
Gorkin. Do you remember at Dave and Buster's
Yes.
one year on my birthday? I won
This
a-
was unbelievable.
I won a plaque using tokens of Chancellor Gorkon. And this is like 2010.
Yeah.
Like, why is there just a plaque of Chancellor Gorkon?
He's the best hope for peace in our time.
So women and machinery do not mix.
Yes. No, the boy's a hero.
The boy's a hero there. Good for yourself. Huh.
And
I love that guy.
They're going to give him money, and they decide to invite him to dinner.
Yes. Now, about this dinner scene,
Yes.
are we supposed to just hate them because they're rich? Are we just supposed to not like
Yeah.
these guys? I like them.
I don't think that's the case. I think you're supposed to hate Cal and the mother. The rest of the people are just kind of there.
They're gonna go have brandy and cigars, assholes.
Well, she
Oh,
doesn't like
they're going to relax.
She doesn't like
They're gonna
it.
talk about politics
And business.
What pieces of shit?
No, she says it's a routine.
So what?
No, she's just, it's like a joke. Like, this is the routine. This is what they're going to do. This is
Right.
what they're going to do. And she's right. That's what they do. You know, like, that's all. It's just
Yes.
showing that she doesn't like the routine. That's all.
Well,
I love-
real quick, Rose is
I love
proven
defending this.
Rose is proven to be a liar almost immediately.
Well, she lies to Cal.
Well, before that, one of the first things she lies to Bill Paxton too. She says, "I only ever wore the Heart of the Ocean once." In that picture, we see her wearing it after Cal gives it to her, trying it on.
So she wore it twice.
She wore it twice. Fucking liar. She's a liar. She cannot be trusted.
Dreadful.
By the way, she's an unreliable narrator. We're getting this from Rose's perspective.
You're right. You're right.
Billy Zane could be an even better guy. And she's just besmirching him because she remembers
And
it
she's
this
also
way.
100.
And she's justifying her awful behavior. So,
I'm not going to lie. That diamond's mess. I would open my heart to fucking Billy Zane right there for that diamond. You kill him? Actually, money or not, I would open my heart to Billy Zane. He's great.
so she says she doesn't want to be around Philadelphia society, and who could blame her? Because if they win a championship, they're gonna have to eat horse shit. Rose, as you could see, the Eagles have won the Super Bowl. Please eat this turd we found on the street. Come on now.
It always comes
It's
back
high
to
class.
Philly.
It wouldn't be from the street.
Yeah.
Be farm fresh turd.
Yeah, this is the finest horse shit this side of the Schuylkill River. So then she sneaks off with Jack to go to the Irish
That's his
party.
last name.
We're
no, you're
skipping
going way
stuff.
too far.
So he shows her the naked French girl sketches,
Yes.
and then he shows her how to spit like a man.
Ugh, I hate this.
She opens up the book. It's just tentacle porn.
These are
a great artist.
These are wonderful, Jack. The way you have the anime girls with giant tits.
I love that this one has every hole filled by a tentacle.
You see people.
I love that you've put a Japanese businessman with a thought bubble going, ho, 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 ho.
I'm trying to take my hoodie off.
You see people.
And he's kind of testing the waters here. Like, you love him? Like, who says that?
He is being very rude.
He's trying to get it in quick. He's prodding to see if she's willing to sleep with him. Like, right out the
Well,
gate.
She's eating it up.
he
She
knows what he
is,
wants.
yeah,
She
yeah.
loves it.
Yes.
She loves
Oh,
getting the
yeah.
attention.
Yes.
She loves flirting on the wrong side of the tracks. Here's my thing: if the ship doesn't sink and everything goes together, she has the fling with Jack on the ship, and then in like 3 weeks, she's begging Cal again.
I don't know about begging Cal, but
'cause
probably go off to do her own thing. Her life wouldn't have been much different. Just Jack would have been alive. Like,
If
that's
the
it.
ship didn't sink. Well,
Yeah.
the sinking of the ship reveals to her in her fucking warped little mind how evil
Cal
that
is,
Cal and her mother truly are. You know, trying to save her life.
Every opportunity trying to save her.
Yes.
Even when Cal can be like a self-serving douchebag and just get away,
Still tries to save
still
her.
tries to save her.
Still tries to save her.
After
life.
she fucked
That
another man.
says it all.
After she
He
fucked another
knows
man.
she fucked another guy. End of story.
Cal's a better dude than me.
Totally.
Because I would be
I have a
throwing her
problem.
into the ocean probably.
He put the coat on her. Is he just trying to get the diamond
He
back?
doesn't know.
Yes, he does.
That was a mistake. That was a mistake from him.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But he doesn't know at that point when he goes back to save her.
Oh no. Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, we'll see as we get through it.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I'm just playing
So
devil's advocate.
Molly dresses up Jack in a tux.
No,
Yes.
you're going too far.
After
No,
the
we're not.
spit scene?
Yep, you're going way too far, sir.
All right. What are we forgetting?
Push the engines. Now you get that line because it's important.
Okay. So Bruce Ishmay has a meeting with Theoden
Yes.
King.
Theoden King of Rohan.
I would see you smile more.
Darker than the distance later.
An iceberg is rising in the east.
Don't say this thing. Say this other cool thing, like Theoden.
Theoden rules. He tells him that the White Star Line wants to make headlines. And
Yes.
how's it going to do that? By breaking all the speed records.
By getting there a day early.
So they want to push the engines to max out, even though there have been ice warnings. And he does it. So now they're full speed ahead, and it's dinner time.
And he knows it's going to be dangerous because if you're going too fast, you can't get out of the way.
Quick little thing about this conversation. We do not know if it ever actually took place. I don't know if you guys are aware, but after the sinking of the ship, there were 2 inquiries made into the whole event, one in the United States, one in Britain. And Bruce Ishmay was put on trial in both of them.
Real quick, where is White Star supposed to be? It's based out of England?
It's a British company that was acquired by J.P. Morgan.
Okay, so it's transatlantic.
Yeah, but it's a British company.
Okay.
Even though at the end of the day, the House of Morgan owns it.
Mm-hmm.
This story about him saying that he said this to Captain Smith to push the engines comes from a woman who was sitting at a table nearby and
Wow.
overheard the conversation.
It's gossip.
It's gossip. There's no way of knowing if this actually took place or not.
What happened on Ismay's
Now-
trials?
They could not prove that he had done anything to contribute to the sinking of the ship. He was cleared of everything, but the public just decided he was the villain. And that story has come down for over a century now. He's the face of like the evil, capitalist guy who's like trying to fucking ruin everything.
Do you view this as like evil? I don't.
Profit over safety.
Profit over safety.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's trying to do something. They had ice warnings, and they didn't heed them. They were still moving into the ice field in the dark.
There's a good chance
The
if they didn't hit that
Californian
one,
actually
they'd hit
contributes to
another one.
this. That ship I was talking about before. We'll get to
Oh,
it.
yeah.
I'll wait till it starts singing before we talk about that. But there's something else I wanted to say.
Isthmus.
It's,
Don Isthmus.
Captain.
Don Imus.
Don Imus. Now Bruce Ishmay.
Well,
Yeah, he went back to England and lived his life, but he was branded a coward forever
Okay.
right. That
Why?
sucks.
Because he didn't go down?
because he got on the
Yeah.
ship. He got on the
He got on
lifeboat.
the lifeboat, yeah.
Why does that make him a coward? He's not the captain.
Because
He
he
played
the
a part
spot of
in it,
of
yeah.
a woman or child.
His life doesn't matter?
No.
No.
I'm of George Costanza mindset. Like in the episode with the fire, he's knocking children and old ladies out of the way.
Brian dresses up as a woman. Get on that ship to
Oi,
save himself.
I'm a woman. So we get the dinner scene.
Nope.
What's next?
Now it's teaching me to ride like a man and spit like a man. And
I said I
We're
did
gonna-
the spit
No, that
scene.
scene's now.
No, the spit. I did the spit scene.
Well, I mean, we mentioned it.
You mentioned it, and I told you to stop because you went too far.
All right, go ahead. What do you
now
wanna
it's
say?
now it's the spit scene, and
I hate the spit scene. It's gross.
it is a little gross. Yeah. But they say they're gonna ride the roller coaster so they puke and ride horses like a man and spit like a man. And they start talking about all these things they're gonna do
I
when
guess
they get
this
back.
is important because this tells us about that photo montage later.
It's a glimpse into what she wants from life,
Right.
and he can give that to her as opposed to Cal.
When the mother and all her friends show up behind them, Jack has spit on his face.
Yes.
Yeah,
And it's gross, and I don't like it.
he's a gross man.
He's a
man.
gross hobo.
Yeah.
Now you get the scene where Molly's like, "You're going into the pit. I got to give you the suit."
She gives him
Yeah.
the suit, and then we have the dinner scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's waiting and leaning. And
Shines up like a new penny.
He
That's an
realizes
insult, right? You shine like a new penny. You look good, but you're still fucking worthless.
No, that's not what it
No.
means. It's like
No,
you look good,
you look good, like a new penny. Everybody likes a new penny.
it's worthless.
especially back then.
Yeah, not back then. It wasn't worthless. You could go to a Nickelodeon if you wanted to.
Okay, yeah. all right. I guess that's like, clean as a new dollar then, right? Maybe
Yeah.
to
Look
us,
like $1 million.
yeah, okay. Today it doesn't fly.
So he's like working on his posture and all this.
Yes.
And we get one of my favorite lines from Billy Zane. A real man makes his own luck.
Surely you agree, Jack. Oh, yes.
These sets are fucking astounding.
And Jack gives this fucking ridiculous speech about the nature of life. And
He's Andre from My Dinner with Andre.
yeah, he's Andre from My Dinner with Andre.
Just a pompous asshole
Yes.
Yeah.
who bragging
Like
about
new
how
age-
great it is to be
new
a hobo.
age- You could tell boomers wrote this.
Being a transient is great.
Yeah.
You get the freedom of the sun, man.
Society's
Not everyone who
bullshit,
wanders is
man.
lost.
There's this van down in the woods, bro.
That's all you need, man. Who cares about having roots or a family or life or a civilization? Let's throw out all traditions.
This part actually bothered me.
It sucks.
No, after the dinner. I actually liked the dinner scene because it's like, oh, look, he's clearly like a child. He's not an adult.
Exactly.
That's what it does.
But we as the audience are supposed to be on his side. But
Not
you as an
necessarily.
adult man see it and go, this is a dumb view of life.
Not
Yes.
necessarily.
This
We
is
see
a
that.
worthless person who's going to contribute nothing.
Right.
We see that, but then you see the young girl who's enamored by it, where we know better, but she's enamored by it. She wants that life.
Right.
You know? And
But this goes back to what I was asking before. Are we supposed to hate them because they're rich?
Yes.
I don't think so.
Yes.
I just think it's I
They're
don't think
rich,
there's
so
any-
they're bad and irredeemable.
Right.
They don't understand how you're really supposed to live. The real value of life is to be an artist, and that's all that really matters.
Right.
And that is what like the movie is saying, specifically
Which is
in relation
stupid.
to Jack.
Yes. This is clearly Boomer Cameron hippie shit.
Yes, it is 100%. Anyway, so
Yeah.
so Jack slides a note to Rose.
Meet me at the
Meet me at the clock.
That I like. I'll just go back to what I said before. The set is so fucking good, dude.
And it's absolutely perfect
so
to the real
accurate.
ship.
It's insane how accurate it is.
Cameron was wild with
He
this.
fucking nailed it.
He hit everything out of the park
yeah.
visually.
You have to give that to him.
I've
It's just
never
like,
taken that
wow.
away from him. That's not my problem with him. He can make a pretty picture.
Now this was my problem. He goes, "You want to go to a real party, motherfucker? You just have the best cuisine probably in the world at this point,
He doesn't appreciate
Go
any.
fuck yourself.
He would be jumping for joy.
dude. I would be
You know?
enamored.
Right.
I wouldn't want to leave that room.
I don't like caviar. And he's eating his
Yeah.
bread all cool, like his Bugs Bunny, talking with his mouth
Imagine
full.
taking like a teenager and putting him in that atmosphere, how terrified they would be of everything. You're not going to be cool guy
I want
running the show.
to. I want to bring up something from my past.
Do
that
it.
I don't like talking about, but I will.
This is when you were molested?
No. I had to go to a business Christmas party in California once because I worked on Wall Street. And I was sitting at a table with a lot of millionaires. Basically, the exact scene that you saw, I had to do.
Yeah, but I imagine the modern millionaire is not nearly as stuffy and uptight as the 1912.
Definitely not. Definitely not. But me being a teenager looking like I was just got out of a fucking concert. Like I had long hair and like I wasn't dressed to the part, I was very uncomfortable and I wasn't sitting there like
No, you were
whipping my
quiet.
dick around. I
Right.
was quiet, reserved, and only spoke when spoken to.
Right.
But you aren't an artist, man. You don't
No,
get it, man.
definitely
You
not.
needed to tell these Wall Street stiffs
These fat
Yep.
cats.
about what it's really
I
like to
messed
just
up. I
live.
messed up. I should have threw bread at my boss's face and been like, "Yeah, you only live once, bro," and like shit like that.
Right.
I messed up.
So then we get the steerage party, which looks fun.
That's
Looks
how
like
the
a great-
plebs live.
Looks like a great time. I am a sucker for an Irish tune.
I love it.
Oh
It's
yeah, me
great.
too. Me too.
The Irish are, as a musical people, unstoppable.
Did everyone river dance in 1912?
Yes.
Everyone did, right?
Yes, of course.
Let's bring it back.
They all listen to the Celtic Women.
Yeah.
They have the PBS special on loop.
The Pogues are down there themselves. They're just rocking.
They're singing Fairy Tale in New York, but the non-edited version because it came out in 1997.
Brian, on your cruise ship, did you make out with any artists? Mel?
Male, no. I definitely had a teenage love affair
Did you?
On your cruise ship?
on my cruise ship when I went on my cruise.
You met a young
You
lady?
had the real
I
Titanic?
had a real Titanic experience.
And you haven't brought this up yet? Why?
I don't know.
Brought it up now. Let's hear it.
All right. So it was a Disney cruise, and I was a sophomore in high school going into junior year. So I was 15, turning 16. And
Did you go on this cruise looking for love in the back of your head?
No, I wanted to see Mickey.
I really just wanted to have fun. It was a family trip.
Like the girls.
Yeah. My
It took me a second.
my family was going with our family, who I used to be really close with. Like, he was like a brother to me, my friend. And we went, and he was a little older. So they broke the ship down into different areas. They had like adult land, where it was like where adults could go.
That's where everybody's topless.
Yeah. They had
First class.
They had teenage land,
Second class.
and then they had like little kid land, right?
Yeah.
And I was old enough to go into teen land, but my friend was 1 year too old for teen land.
So he couldn't even go in there?
He couldn't go in there, and he was 1 year too young for adult land. So he had
So what
nowhere
is he,
to go.
limbo man?
He's in limbo. So
That doesn't make any sense.
we
He could
were
have went to adult land. They would have let him.
no, they on a Disney cruise. Hell no, especially back then.
Why couldn't they let him in the teen land?
They just wouldn't do it. He was too old.
He's going to touch the kids.
So
How do they have this?
what
How
do you
could
mean?
they have a gap year?
They just do.
Why
I
didn't
don't
he just
know.
lie?
Screw those kids.
You have like a band. You can't.
Oh, sorry, you're 17. You're not allowed to do anything on this.
Yes.
sit there and do nothing.
So
Oh, you got a 17, huh? That sucks.
yep.
Wasted your money.
So he got off the boat at one of the stops.
Never came back. Don't
He-
blame him.
He bought vodka because he could buy it on like one of these Caribbean islands.
Okay.
And he smuggled the vodka back.
Nice.
And me and him got shit faced. And I think this is the only time in my life I got pass out drunk.
Mm-hmm.
And my parents, they woke us up and I was all incapacitated.
I'm seasick.
Yeah. they knew because the vodka was everywhere. Apparently, I didn't see him, but he got so drunk and vomited and went to the bathtub and tried to wake himself up. And he just had the bathtub running as he laid in it.
Drowning?
And like the water was flowing into the room as he passed out drunk.
The water goes under the door and people in the hall's like, we're sinking.
Put your life jackets on.
Immediately, just an old
It
couple
turns
gets
into
on the bed
Titanic.
together and well, this is it.
See you, pals.
Band starts playing.
Yeah, it's a band playing.
Zippity doo dah. It's all slow and shit.
False alarm.
So my friend's mother lost her shit and paid for a helicopter to come to the cruise
What?
ship and had him helicoptered out. Paid tens of thousands of dollars.
No fucking way. Because he got drunk?
Yeah,
Yeah.
know
This
This may be a
person.
bit of an overreaction. I think I know who it is.
Yeah.
but-
Yeah. Went ape shit, had him like helied away.
Where does this fit in with your love story?
Yeah. I forgot who you're going with this.
I'm giving the full details of the thing because we're doing it. So after this, I was grounded, right? And some of the teens had seen me in the teen place, right? But they hadn't seen me for a bit. So then after like a day of being punished, I was allowed back out. And it was like, where were you? I was like, I kind of got grounded because we got so drunk.
Oh, badass.
Exactly. And my friend had to get hellied out.
Hellied.
Yeah. And
They
there-
must have seen the chopper.
Yeah. So
How do you not?
At first, there was a girl from Staten Island on the cruise.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, in my head, I was like, I'm gonna get with this girl. Then when we get back to
And
Staten
then when
Island,
we go get married.
she's gonna be my girlfriend. Like,
You're gonna ride the roller coaster. See
it's
you
gonna be
puke.
great. Yeah. And obviously, the girl was not having me. And I was like bummed. And then me and my friend got drunk. Then this other girl, she got into me because I'm a bad boy now. I'm a Staten Island guy. I got my spiky hair. I'm a rebel who just got drunk.
Right.
Yep.
And,
Brian Rupert, teenage
and
There you go.
you know, we fucking had a 2-day long romance
You
on
went
the
into steerage.
Disney cruise.
So how many modes of transportation were you in when you had sex with her? Was it a boat, a car? Yeah, now we're in the 20th century. Was there a plane on board? Oh, there's a helicopter.
Helicopter,
It
yeah.
was a helicopter, yeah.
You can helium. I just got to do this.
It was a Disney cruise. You might have had like a piece of a ride that you could have sat
So
in.
we got pretty
teacup.
hot and heavy inside an elevator.
You made out with her.
Yeah, and there was a lot of
elevator.
groping and
got the
touching.
feel.
Yeah, there was all
nice,
sorts
nice.
of finger banging and things like
Really?
that. Oh,
There
yeah.
you go.
Yeah, this was like the
Nice.
last night of the cruise, and like shit was
Nice.
wild. And
How come you didn't
Romance.
go all the way?
Didn't have enough of days.
Oh, did you?
I didn't have enough days. We did not go all the way. I was a younger man, and I just didn't have the confidence to
Right.
like push for that.
Wow.
But, you know, it happens. Either
Remember
way.
her name? You don't have to say. Do you remember her name?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well,
I,
So
All
when
fair,
you go to
all fair.
heaven, you can go find
That's
her.
I am
you're
going to
gonna
look
do.
for her right away.
Right.
I'm gonna like leave my wife and like yeah.
Now that you're reminded of that love, you remember now. That's like you agree.
That's your Jack.
Yeah.
So
Would you have sacrificed your life for her at that moment?
I would have done anything. No, I will tell you that we were like getting so hot and heavy in the elevator, like in teenage groping, that like the captain of the ship, like I'm convinced he saw it on a security camera, and it's like 3 a.m. on the cruise. Nobody else is around, and he hits our elevator, and like we come down. The doors open and the captain's like standing there.
Oh,
And we're
God.
like, oh, you know.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
What a block. What a scumbag.
Yeah.
Yeah. Captain was not having it.
He was trying to join.
But so I am
Too bad the lookout couldn't see inside the elevator and just check it. Hey, oh, he goes to his friend. Hey, look at that.
They're keeping
Yeah.
warm.
we hit an iceberg even though we're in the Caribbean.
Wow. It's amazing how much life imitates art, isn't it?
Anyway, so one of the worst scenes in the whole movie
What, the dance?
is when she goes on her tippy toes to show off to everybody.
I like
Some
that.
tough men.
Everybody is like, oh.
I'd be impressed by that.
It's impressive. I don't know if you'd be like, holy shit.
Yeah, yeah. They do give it a little more than it deserves.
Yeah.
They're also like hammered.
Yeah.
If you were to do that in front of me hammered, I'd probably be like, oh, yeah. I'd react the same
You'd
way.
think that all those Irish people down there would just hate her instinctually. Was this, an English woman?
But
Well, they're
she's
not all
American.
Irish.
You're right, and she's American.
Yeah. They're not
But
all
sometimes she's English.
Yeah.
Her real accent shows up a
like
couple
Deanna
times.
Troy.
Exactly. So the next day, Billy Zane is having breakfast,
Irish. And he's
and he
pissed.
flips shit.
Right,
and
well,
Because
berates
Spicer
her.
Lovejoy was watching them.
Yes.
Yeah, rightfully so. He should be pissed.
This is the most justified man I've ever seen in anything ever.
Yes. She's running around with a homeless hunk
Yes.
Yeah.
And-
trying to cuck her husband.
Yes. And his response is he throws a table.
Yeah.
Completely reasonable man.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
He yells at her, says, "Why are you doing this? Don't do this."
You're humiliating
And
me.
throws a table, and the people around act like he might as well have shot her in the toe or something. Like he like it's played like the worst thing that's ever happened.
He's a monster.
Yeah, he's out of control. I've never
He's
agreed,
restrained.
I've never agreed with a guy so hard before. What do you think, Beaver?
He
How
showed
you-
complete
no,
restraint.
I wrote in my notes, Zane has every right to be angry.
Yeah.
Like, but at the same time, why do you put up with that and not just be like, get the fuck out of the room? Like, kick
He
her out.
loves her.
Right.
I think if you're Zane, I think in most situations would be like, you're out. I'm
Right.
done with you. But he also has a streak of pride in him.
Yes.
He doesn't want to lose to Jack.
I also believe, and you could correct me if I'm wrong.
Do you think he loves her?
I think he does.
Me too.
it's hard to say?
He clearly
yes.
does. He tries to save her life over
Yes.
and over again.
It's yeah. He tries to do good. He's not a completely evil person, obviously, but there's a point at the end where it says he married and got his inheritance.
Yes.
Sometimes in order to get your inheritance, you actually have to be married. And I think he was trying to get married quicker.
They never
to
say
get
that.
You're.
Am I thinking too much into it?
Yeah, you're
Not that you're thinking,
extrapolating.
You're just trying to come up with things that aren't there. You know. Like,
No,
that is a possibility. But
Right.
if it were,
It's not said.
If it were consequential, they'd say it in the movie.
Well, that's the thing they mentioned at the end, real quick, and I was wondering if that was what they were connecting, because they say like, oh, he married and got his inheritance. So I was like, oh, I wonder if that was a connection that was supposed to be there. I don't know. It was a little piece.
So it's the
By the way, old lady Rose is so happy that he killed himself.
yes.
oh yeah,
She's thrilled.
She's
she
like,
was kind of like, nah, whatever.
Nobody was happier about Black Tuesday than Rose.
She's a terrible, terrible woman.
She's garbage. Rose is a horrible person.
And her biggest sin we haven't talked about yet. I'm sure we've all
gonna
drawn
get
the
there.
same conclusion.
We'll get there.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
But now you actually find out that like they're in destitute. They have a ton of debt. They need to marry to survive. This is where they're doing the corset. Which let's bring those back. Bring back corsets. We got to bring back a couple of things from this film. We got to bring cigarette holders.
I like those.
Cigarette holders are great.
Yeah.
I would probably smoke more cigarettes if I had one of those.
Yeah, okay.
We need corsets back.
well, the
need them
next
back.
morning, Dawson shows up, Jack.
Hold on. What's the other thing? You had 3 things, right?
There's a couple of things we need to bring back. Yeah.
I like corsets.
Yeah, me
They're
too.
cool.
Cigarette holders. And I had one more. I think it was.
Slavery.
Okay, moving on.
Yeah, you win.
No,
you win.
what'd you say?
I don't remember. It was something.
No, you really need to say it, please.
Nope.
Because that's a good joke, and I want to be able to keep it.
It's there.
All right. So the next morning, after like the table sequence and all this, Jack shows up at church, like stalking her.
Yes.
Where does this guy get off?
He's like decided I'm ruining this relationship. But like I can't fault him for that. He sees an opportunity, he's gonna take it.
He's trying to sleep with her.
He is what he is.
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't care about anything. He doesn't care about her. He's trying to get laid. Well, maybe he does. I don't
Or
know.
did he fall in love? That's,
Yeah, I,
we
mean,
don't know.
I guess he's in love, and this
Yeah.
is him. I'm not giving up. You
It's
know?
a whirlwind love romance
on a boat.
Romeo and Juliet
Yeah.
with consequences kind of thing going on here. And they're on a boat. Yeah.
very
You
romantic.
can't really go
boats.
far. You can't get away.
Yeah, but you know what? I think boats are like the
Where are you
height
going to run?
of
Where are you going to
romance.
run? You're not going to go anywhere.
You know, like you take a lady on a boat.
Yeah, ask Lana Wood.
Well, look at the last.
Reference from 1960.
Come on, that's a good joke.
Look at the last movie we watched, House of Gucci. They go on a boat.
Did they go on a boat?
Yeah, they did.
They went on a boat.
Then that sealed the
Love.
deal, didn't it?
Tunnel of Love.
Yeah,
You're on a
Tunnel of
boat.
Love boat.
Yes.
So,
Amistad.
Jesus.
Oh, love. So
So,
they're singing like in church.
yeah.
All right. And it's like this creepy people who die on the sea song. Those who perish on the sea. It's
I
like,
wasn't
well,
paying
that's a
attention to
little
what they were
creepy.
It's a
singing.
hymn about sea travel.
It's creepy.
I don't remember the
little
lyrics.
cult-
So now we get the lifeboat scene right after this.
Oh,
After
okay.
Jack gets thrown away.
Yeah.
They throw Jack away and they're like, you don't belong here. Spicer Lovejoy's like, get the fuck out of here. And he's like thrown away.
Yeah.
So now we get the lifeboat scene where
Exposition.
Andrews talks to Rose, and Rose is like, excuse me, Mr. Andrews.
I did the math.
I did the math, and there's not enough lifeboats. And he's like, you're right.
You're very astute, Rose.
Yeah,
don't think
good
that's
scene.
past you.
It gets what they need to say.
It also makes you like him a little more because he was like, oh, I wanted to stack him, and I
They
didn't-
said no, it
they
makes it
said
too
no,
cluttered.
Yeah, so they show he's a good guy,
Yes.
you know, through that.
So then
Jack sneaks up again.
Jack steals a coat, sneaks up, and grabs her.
He really wants it in.
Yeah. And they have a bridge scene.
A bridge scene.
You're the most amazing woman I've ever known after 2 days.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love when later when he's accused of being a thief. He's just like, you know me, Rose.
You know me?
Yeah.
No, she doesn't know you.
I need to know you're going to be all right.
So this is the I'm flying Jack scene.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, the
Okay.
bridge scene. That's when I'm flying.
So many of these scenes after this look like paintings, and I don't know if they did it on purpose. They made the colors brighter with her sitting in like these areas.
Well, it's like the sunset, right?
Yeah, it looked really cool.
Well, she tells him to leave, but then gives in to his charm. And then they go on. Yeah, they do the I'm flying.
I changed my mind. Shh. Close your eyes.
Come,
Get on your knees.
On my flying machine.
So then
that's when the VHS ends and we have to change tapes.
Yeah, I gotta change that.
and that's when this podcast will end,
We
and
end
you'll
to
have
do
to
a part
come
two.
back tomorrow for part 2. No, I'm serious. We're done. No. All right. You guys were looking at me like, wait, is he serious?
Because you never know with you.
I know. All right. I'm wild and unpredictable. You never know when I'll just make a part 2 of an episode.
They finally kiss, and this is a cool transition. They kind of transition back to the rusted, sunken
Yes.
ship. It's really cool.
And we're back. Now this is when they're all gathered around.
And this is when I said, wow, I completely forgot they were telling a story. I got
No, you
lost.
didn't.
I got lost. Yeah, I did.
I guess you did. Who am I? Well, why am I putting my
Yeah,
mind
fuck
into
you.
yours?
I got lost in the story.
You know him. You know how he thinks.
Know me.
You know me, Steve.
That fire that I love about you, Ant, fire's going to die out.
So this is really the turning point of the movie, right? It's the last time Titanic saw daylight.
Yup.
They give a little extra exposition.
And
Yeah.
now the movie,
It's the reason we're all here.
it's the reason we're all here.
Yep.
It's the reason this is the giant success that it is. And I have nothing bad to say whatsoever about the sinking elements.
Well,
and,
before-
Oh,
the,
there's stuff before
and the
that.
portrayal
We're
of
skipping the.
Yeah, there's stuff before that.
oh yeah.
Draw me like your French girl.
Yeah, that
Oh,
is
yeah.
just. Oh, by the
That's
way,
the reason we're there.
I have a portrait similar to that
Yeah.
that I would love to put on the Instagram.
Is it a lovely lady that
It's
you drew?
definitely a lovely lady wearing the necklace.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll put it on the Instagram.
Okay.
I have
want to see this beautiful lass.
You do.
Yeah.
Very, very beautiful lass.
Okay.
Forgot that happened.
So, draw me like a French girl. Now, this scene, I do have one issue with it.
She wasn't wearing business
Is
socks.
this the next scene after they go back into the story?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So they're down in Cal's quarters.
Yep.
Yep.
They're in his room.
Yes.
How scandalous.
They couldn't even be bothered to go to Jack's room.
There's 3 people in that room.
One of
I
them
think-
is a great room. One of them is a shit
Yeah.
room.
Yeah.
With rats.
But one of them has a guy where if he comes in and sees you,
You get shot.
yeah, you're going to get fucking killed. So,
He makes his own luck.
this is one of the hippie boomer moments of the movie that's underrated.
There's more.
Yes, but it's James Cameron's hands that are sketching Kate Winslet
Yeah, he actually did the sketch.
that you're seeing.
Oh yeah.
So when you watch this, it's James Cameron staring at Kate Winslet naked, drawing her.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm convinced this is part of the reason he
He wanted to do the movie.
this is shot so lovingly because he loves that he got to look at her naked and draw her.
That must have been a pain in the ass to film because you clearly see Jack, Leonardo DiCaprio. You see his head, his face. He's in the room doing what he's supposed to be doing.
Yeah, but then it cuts
Then
the
what do
hands.
they stop filming and put? All right, send in Cameron. It's
I
just
don't
his
think Ant
hands?
knows how movies work.
I guess I don't.
Well, they shot it several times, you know.
So she was just nude all day.
Yeah, she had like a whole day on set where she was laying around naked.
Or they took a picture of her, pause the thing, and he draws her out. That's
There's
probably more realistic.
There's an infamous flub.
You guys are insane.
There's an infamous Leonardo DiCaprio flub.
No, really?
Where he goes, get on the bed, couch.
Yes, yeah.
Because he's nervous.
Yeah, but that's not in the script.
It's supposed to say get on the couch, but he said bed because he was like so nervous that like
It's better.
Kate Winslet is
Yeah,
naked.
that
It is
good.
better.
That
Yeah.
is good.
And it works out. But that was not.
You know, when I was watching it yesterday, when he says couch, I don't know if this is true or not. I find couch to be a very modern word. I feel like he would have said sofa as a man of 1912.
Well, he's also a street rat,
yeah, I know.
so he might be using this.
I don't know. Maybe they said couch, maybe they didn't. I really have no idea. But it's just something that popped into my head
It's
yesterday.
an interesting thought. Because like there's probably a ton of words like that that are not
Yeah.
being utilized because it would sound ridiculous, especially if they come from England, right?
Yeah, but they're both
He's from
American.
Wisconsin.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying like on the ship themselves
Right.
when you have the higher upper class talking, like you would get some crazy.
I feel like couch is
word.
just a word that seems so much more of our time than theirs.
Well, down here,
It's our time. It's our time down here.
so they make a good
And maybe I'm
choice
just
here.
retarded.
Yeah. I mean, we'd have to look it up. They make a good choice when she goes to get naked. They stop the music completely for a moment, and the room is like quiet. And when he says like get on the couch, and then when she sits down, they start drawing. The music starts playing again. I thought that was a good like choice.
Good scene.
You know? Yeah.
It's a good scene. There's nothing wrong with it.
So then after Lovejoy goes to this I hate. Lovejoy goes to Cal and he's like, we can't find them anywhere.
They didn't look in the room.
The first place you didn't check their room. That's literally the first place you should check.
And keep checking.
Yes.
You go back there.
Couldn't find him anywhere. Wasn't that after they went down? No, because they ran away into steerage.
He
Yeah,
grabbed
they ran
her
away.
from like a group of people that were walking around the ship.
Yes.
And she's been missing all day.
Yeah.
Now it's nighttime, and they're looking for her, presumably for hours. How did they not find her?
So maybe they went to the room first and then the rest of the ship. Who knows?
I guess.
But he's drawing her for a long time.
You'd assume so.
Yeah.
And like,
Probably like an hour or two.
yeah, there's detail in that sketch. Anyway,
Wasn't I a dish?
wasn't probably a dish.
The transitions in this are always like really good for some reason. I don't know why.
So then we get Lovejoy finally goes into the room.
Yes.
Did we do it?
Oh yes, we go. No, we
go back
we go
first.
back
Yeah.
to the future.
So you go back with her staring in the distance and it changes to her old. That's what I meant by the transition. It was
Yes.
fantastic. And then they're all sitting there like silent, like paying attention. And this is the point where it's like, it takes you away because it's like they all forgot about the diamond completely. They don't care anymore. Like all care for that diamond is gone now, even though it's probably worth what, $150 million.
you really think they
No.
don't care about the
Bill
diamond?
Paxton still cares about the
He
diamond.
has a singular vision.
If the
They're all but they're all sitting there looking paying attention.
Into the story.
if,
Yeah,
if
yeah, that's what I
Rose
meant.
didn't waste everybody's time and money at the end and
right.
just give them the diamond,
It would've been all
they
been
would go,
worth it.
"Thank you, okay,
Yes.
I don't need to hear your
that
story."
was great. That was a great story, Rose. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yep. Anyway, so
They do a classic Hollywood chase scene.
all right, draw me like a French girl. The couch flub. It was the most erotic moment
Yes.
of my life.
Yes.
She had a life with a husband.
She said it was
And-
the most erotic moment of my life up until then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I do believe it may have been the most erotic
Yes.
part
Of
of her life.
Yeah, up until then, yeah.
Right. Not even up to, maybe it was.
Maybe,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
How do we
guess.
know?
So then Lovejoy chases them. And it's I like this chase. It's fun. They go through
stay
the
one step.
engine.
Yeah, they go in the elevator.
They get to steerage. They get to the car, and they
Security
fuck in
really
the car.
sucks on this ship. How did they get there? How did they just walk into the engine room?
He just went.
Yeah, like that's
gonna
such
stop
crap. Security. I don't know. There's nobody protecting the engines.
Eh.
Yeah, they're not worried about it.
Oh, you can't be in here.
Boy.
So Billy Zane finds the sketch,
Yes.
and
And hatches a scheme.
he is very angry.
As he should be.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
And now Jack and Rose come up from like the dwelling, and they're still making out, and they're all giddy post-coitus. And the spotters look at them, and they're like, "Oh, you gotta look at this."
So they're making out.
They're making out
on the
The
deck.
handprint.
and they're looking at a fucking free show instead of looking for an iceberg, and it causes 1,500 people to die because she couldn't just stay with her fiance.
Yes.
She had to fuck a street urchin
my
and
AKA.
cause everybody to die.
Women will get you killed. Imagine she was disappointed after having sex, like giving up her whole life and all that shit, and then he just like premature ejaculated.
How'd you know I could do it, Rose?
Last like 30 seconds, she's
Let me
like,
ask you a
"Oh my
question.
god, I left my life for this."
Do you think Rose was a virgin?
Yes,
I think so.
I think so. Yeah, 100%.
You don't think Billy Zane and her ever got down?
No, I think he was saving it for marriage.
I think Billy Zane was like, "I'm a respectable guy and I love you. I'm going to wait till marriage." And she gave it up to a street urchin.
It's very likely.
Do you think Jack was a virgin?
Yes,
I don't.
I think
He
so.
was hanging out with prostitutes.
Yeah.
He was
Drawing
fucking.
them.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
You're right. You're probably right with that one.
But he was nervous.
He was nervous just telling her to sit. Yeah.
That's because he did have
liked
feelings
her,
for
yeah.
her.
Okay.
She wasn't a one-legged prostitute.
Right.
So,
So now okay, so we get the iceberg hit.
iceberg hits.
Yeah.
And
They can't turn in time.
it's awesome.
This
the
is
way
amazing.
that they show all of the little things that go into trying to turn the ship out of the way.
Yeah. The panic.
And like the guys in the crow's nest have to call the bridge, and Light Tower has to send now. He has to call engineering. Engineering has to and everybody's turning levers and wheels, and it's fucking cool. It's
crazy.
and it takes so long to just change that angle. And they kind of graze the iceberg, and it cuts a long.
Yeah. If
hole
they were
in the
going
side
just a
of it.
little slower, they would have fucking missed it.
Some people say it would have been much better if they just hit it head on.
That's what I was wondering.
That's a good argument. I don't think it would have been better.
Now, not many people
That
know
would have been
this,
way worse.
but it was at this moment after the impact when the West decided we must do everything possible to eliminate icebergs. And that was when we invented aerosol cans.
Oh, yes, yeah,
and
yeah.
we were like, we must destroy the ozone at all costs.
Did you know that in the intervening 100 years, there's been a like an international effort to
Raise the Titanic and put it in the museum? Yeah.
no, that's the Harrison Ford Foundation. I wasn't talking about that. No, there's like an iceberg watch.
Okay.
And like people map them constantly. And like I don't think one ship has hit an iceberg in the last like 90 years.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because especially when the captain actually said it on the bridge in the movie, when he's like, it's going to be really hard to see icebergs because the water's so calm that you can't see the water breaking on the iceberg.
Right. Because
So
it's pitch black out there.
to what you said, like that small little look down and look up, I don't even think that had an effect. They were going to hit that
They were staring.
regardless. They stared for a split second.
They could have had more time.
They probably lost a few seconds on that, but I
It ain't gonna
agree
save
with
shit.
you. I
Yeah.
agree with you.
It's not saving anything.
Do you know, though, if you see 7 icebergs in a circle, there's usually a secret world in there
Yeah.
that you can take, and it'll actually get you to the secret entrance to Bowser's castle.
Right. Yes.
You knew that, right?
Yeah.
Of course.
Right. So the flood doors go off, and
Watertight doors.
we find out that this shit's gonna sink because 5 flooded instead of 4. 4 was the max that could flood.
Right. And it's coming in so fast because it's a long cut that's
Yep.
going into 2 different compartments at the same time.
Yeah.
So and when one floods, they tip over each other like dominoes. So like
Yep.
one floods and then it goes to the next one. And like when you're filling up a cube of ice trays in the sink.
Knowing that was gonna sink must have been the most horrifying moment.
I said a cube
Like,
of
holy
ice
crap.
trays and nobody attacked me.
Not even. Gonna
I didn't-
attack
I
you for
missed
A
it.
tray of ice cubes.
Cube of ice trays.
That has to be so horrifying. Like not only is this gonna sink, a lot of people are about to die.
Yes.
Like, ugh.
So I think this is a good time where I will talk about the USS Californian.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the USS Californian is an American ship. I think they were like a fishing boat or something like
Okay.
that. It was 17 miles and they were stopped because the ice field and it was dark was coming
too
and
brutal.
they didn't want to go moving around in it.
They did the smart thing.
Yes. Earlier in the day, the wireless operator on the Californian.
Okay. I had a question about this.
Yes.
They're sending out a message wireless, right?
Yeah.
Morse code,
I was trying to understand this. So, is radio invented?
Sort of. It's
Because I thought telegrams you need a wire.
you do, but this is a new thing. It's
Okay.
not a telegram per se. It's wireless. There's a relay station in Canada. Like they can't send it from the middle of the ocean. If they get within range of certain places, there can be a station that'll pick up a signal, and all it can do is send Morse code. You can't like talk
yeah.
on it.
It's an early form of radio.
Yeah. It's like an early.
But you have to be within
It
range.
has
Version
frequencies.
one, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the wireless operator on the Californian contacted Titanic and warned them about the icebergs.
Wow.
The guy operating the wireless thing on Titanic ignored them because he was busy sending telegrams from the passengers to America.
Wow.
And he literally said to the guy on he Morse coded the guy on the Californian, shut up and leave me alone.
Wow.
Yes. So they shut up at like 2 minutes before the Titanic hit the iceberg, the wireless operator on the Californian shut his machine off and went to bed. He was done for the day.
Wow.
Yes. The crew of the Titanic could see the Californian in the distance. They could see it. It's that close. They are desperately trying.
Yeah, 17 miles isn't too
Right.
far.
They're desperately for the next couple of hour trying to get their attention.
Flares.
So they are shooting the flares, and they've got lights that are sending Morse code signals to them. The guys on the Californian, I guess, just didn't understand what was happening, and they took it as they were having like a celebration on the Titanic.
Wow.
And they never fucking went over and saw what was happening. They didn't get there until they saw. So here's what they saw: when the ship went up in the air,
Yeah, when it's vertical.
they saw it and they were like, "Oh fuck!"
Someone really should have
And
helped
then
them.
the lights went out.
Oh, so you can't even find them.
So then they were like, "Oh shit, we got to get over there." So by the time they got there, the Carpathian already arrived.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now I have a question about that.
So that guy, if he's not a douchebag,
The wireless guy on the Titanic.
yeah.
He fucked up. He fucked up bad. He's dead. So.
Yeah.
I was gonna say because you said they could.
That's an all-time
They could see
fuck up.
like they could see the lights, and they're like, we don't know what's happening, so we're not gonna. They're celebrating. Could it also have been that it's like we see lights happening, and they just didn't want to travel through the ice? Because 17 miles is still pretty far.
That's possible. I mean, in the inquiry when they were interviewed, that would probably look bad on them. So
Right.
I don't think
Okay.
they'd ever admit that.
Okay.
You know,
I see.
if that was the case.
yeah.
Like then it's like,
get it.
okay, you guys are cowards.
Well, you may get your headlines.
You let
Mr.
women and children die. Yeah,
So they frame Jack.
they search him.
They lock him with the Master of Arms. And he's, you know me, Rose? And it's like, no. Even she realizes she doesn't really know him in that moment. She's like, oh, shit, do I know him? She, like, second guesses it.
Yeah, well, she
you know?
should.
Yeah.
I love Andrews with the blueprints, like looking at them, and he's like,
Yes.
the ship is going to sink.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
a great scene. And he explains the danger to everyone.
Yes.
And now, you know, the elite few know what's happening, and the passengers certainly don't. And they start issuing the life belts,
Life jackets.
which is a great scene because you see while the interrogation sort of thing is happening with Jack and the diamond. Not that it matters. You got the guy who comes into the room with the two of them is overly polite and understanding, and Billy Zane tries to shoo him away several times, but he won't leave.
Yeah.
He's like, "Put the fucking life."
Yeah,
belts
you
in."
don't know this.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't know what's
Right.
happening.
And then compare that to the next scene they show of the steerage guys getting told to put their life jackets on. A dude bursts into a room of sleeping men, throws them on the ground, goes, "Put them on," and leaves.
What we missed a
Because
scene.
he has so much more to cover. He has so much
He
more ground.
does, but just look at the level of patience that's given,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and courtesy.
Yeah, we missed like two scenes
Well,
that
we
I want
missed.
to get into.
We
too,
missed.
yeah.
We missed the scene which a lot of people would use to say Cal is not a good guy when he smacks the shit out of Rose.
She deserved it.
She deserved
Yeah,
every
she
bit of that
deserved it.
smack.
She earned it.
Maybe Jack doesn't deserve to be framed for thievery,
Yes.
Yeah.
but she deserved a nice smack in the face.
She had it coming.
Oh yeah.
She's way more in
Now,
the wrong than Jack.
I'll say this. Do you know Cameron, I believe, cut that out of, I think when we saw it in 3D,
It's not in the movie.
it was cut out.
Really?
What,
Yeah.
like George Lucas shit?
Yeah, exactly. He cut the Billy Zane smack out, which if you cut it out, Cal is an even better fucking guy.
Yes. Wow. Why would he do that?
I think he didn't like that it was violence against
Yeah,
women.
violence against women at the time. Yeah.
Oh God.
It is what it is.
Yeah, because the 1912 guy wouldn't smack his
Right,
wife
they
who
do way
just
worse.
cheated on him.
He would have done way worse. And now the captain goes to the Morse code room and is like, you got to send out CQD, which is a little
Yeah, in the-
confusing to people. And I found out what it is.
In the director's cut, I believe it's when he removes the slap.
Director's cut?
Yeah.
That's why take it out? It was on the version that we watched, though, which is weird.
Yeah, I saw it.
You know, like,
Yeah. So I guess it's not gone. It's not like the walkie-talkie
Right,
guns
yeah.
and ET.
They brought those back, thankfully.
They brought the guns?
Uh-huh.
oh,
They gotta have the guns out.
CQD. So in Morse code, you would send CQ, which in French is SECU, SECU, which would be like security.
Ship in distress.
No, well, CQ is security, meaning it's a like a section of codes, like security this, security this, security this, and then the D is distress.
Is this before the SOS call?
This is before SOS. Yes. So it's French mixed with distress.
I love the accuracy on that. 'Cause
Very
the
accurate,
The common
yeah.
man does not know what CQD is.
I had to look it up. I was
Yeah.
like, is that? I knew it was a distress call,
Right.
but what the hell does that even stand for? Where did it come from?
Oh yeah,
And that's-
contextually you can tell what it is, but like,
Right. Yeah. You could associate it, and then we get Andrews being a good guy again, trying
Yeah.
to save Rose.
He tells her the ship is going to sink.
Get the
Yeah,
fuck
tell
into
who
a
you
boat.
must. I don't want to start a panic.
Yeah, just get out of here.
Yes, get on a boat as fast as possible.
And then we realize being a man sucks in these moments.
Yeah, this was when I was a little kid. Like always, that was like, wow, you have to die if
Right.
you're a guy.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking like, I'm glad I'm a kid.
Now you're a man, though.
Mayo.
You were just a boy then. Now you're only.
Second final cut
man.
reference of the night.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's coming up.
Where are we at?
So we now have stuff is escalating, right? There's people locked downstairs. They're preparing the lifeboats. They're trying to get things moving to get people out, and they're putting up flares. So we now have the band who's playing.
Yeah, famous.
The real
stuff.
fucking heroes.
Those guys are great.
Oh my God, they are. Played till death.
It is very likely that the head band guy, the violinist, his body was recovered
No way.
by a Canadian expedition that went out after the sinking to find bodies. And they found him, and he is currently buried in a cemetery in Halifax. That same cemetery,
Wow.
in the days and weeks after the sinking,
Yeah.
the body started to wash up on shore in Canada. So there's a cemetery that's like
Wow.
all Titanic victims.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
So I will tell you this: the music they're playing in.
I know they do the can.
So listen, in real life, they're not playing what they're playing in the movie. In the
yeah?
movie, they're playing like all this, like classical music.
They're doing like hymns, right?
In real life, they're playing ragtime, which if you're gonna be on a sinking boat, jaunty ragtime music probably doesn't fit.
oh my God.
Fucking Swanee River is going on as people are trying to get on boats.
They fucking played basically until they died. oh my God. I love a lot of these scenes because they show
Well,
how fucking scary the
So
ocean
I read
is.
A Night to Remember, which is the book about this
Yes.
in high school. And the shit in the book is this, like word for word. He just did it. And there's a movie, A Night to Remember. I think it's from like the 50s.
Is
or
that the
60s.
Nazi one?
No, I'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
That's the first like Titanic movie. And Cameron, I know, has gotten criticism over the years for just like ripping off complete scenes.
But I mean, the shit-
But it is the real stuff. So why you can't really get him on that. This is what the book said. This is what the movie had.
It'd
and
be
then
like
the-
ripping off Ryan for like shit in The Longest Day.
Yeah.
Like some of this shit just happened.
It has to be put in. Yeah.
Yeah, so you brought up the Nazi thing. So in, I think, like 1938 or 40, early on, before, the world ended for them, the Nazis put out a Titanic movie.
Yep.
And they built a ship.
A replica of the Titanic,
And
basically.
they changed the themes of the movie to be like...
It's all Jewish
yes,
capitalism.
it's
why
all
it's-
Jewish capitalism is the reason Titanic sank.
Wow.
And it's a propaganda movie.
Yeah.
I kind of want to watch it just like
I would love to
historically,
see
yeah.
it, just to see what they
did. Yeah.
Postscript to that, the ship they used for the movie in
This is what's fucked up.
In 1945,
Oh, I know this story. I know this.
they
Put a bunch of Jews on
Yep.
there.
they dressed the ship up to look like a cruiser and not just a replica movie, passenger ship. So they made it look like a warship.
Yeah.
and they took a bunch of Jews from the concentration camps before they were liberated and put them on the ship.
Yep.
And the Allies, flying overhead, thought they were attacking a warship and ended up sinking this ship with a bunch of prisoners on it.
That's so brutal.
Yeah.
Bastards.
Fucked up.
So brutal.
Brutal.
Yeah. I mean, crazy tie-in, though.
Yeah.
Like, wow. We now get, where we are in the movie, why Rose actually hates where she is.
The same with her mother.
You unimaginable bastard.
Oh, that.
And the mother. It's both of them. Because she's like, I don't want it to be too crowded, and I
Yeah,
want
she's
my
a
space.
ditz.
Her mother is horrible.
She does not understand the stakes that are happening here.
Yeah.
No.
And then she's like, half the people are going to die, and Cal goes, well, at least the better half. Not the
good
better half.
Yeah.
And she's
I love
just
that
like,
line.
I can't be with a person
Right.
who really is that
Who
cold.
believes that.
Yeah.
Right.
Can you actually blame her for that one? No.
Can you blame Cal, though, after what he just saw a poor guy
He's,
do to
he's
his...
a guy and is in a weird emotional state at that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true, too.
It's an unfortunate thing to say.
If I'm Cal, I'd be
I
I hope they all fucking
just
drown
based
down
on the
there.
way Cal has been acting through this whole movie, I don't believe that he thinks that. I don't believe he's that guy.
I think he's just pushed
He
so
hasn't
far.
really done anything to he hasn't said anything terrible about the lower classes or anything. He's just
He's addicted to Jack.
yeah, he's addicted
Yeah.
to Jack, and Jack deserves
it, yeah.
to be
Jack's trying to fuck and does fuck his fiance.
right.
I would be enraged. I'd be like, I hope everyone on the bottom drowns.
Yeah, I mean, it's the worst thing he does in the movie is that line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is just
Yes,
have
agreed.
complete inhumanity to all these
Well,
people.
he's just so angry.
right.
But that kind of sets her off the edge and just like, I'm not doing
I'm not
this.
going to save myself.
Yeah, I'm not gonna-
I'm going to jump out of this boat.
I'd
and
rather
die.
be dead.
What a
than go
teenager
with
thing.
them, yeah. And it's like, that's a little excessive because when you think of if she just
I'm
got
going to die out of spite.
yeah, if she just got in the fucking boat, she could have left them after.
Yeah.
Jack would have had the door, and it all would have been good.
Oh, the door.
The door was for him, not for her. She had multiple ways out, and she's just like, oh, I don't want to do that. Oh, fuck you.
So Rose spits in Cal's face, which she learned from Jack.
Right. He gets an erection.
Yeah,
Oh, he's into it.
as one does.
So Rose finds Jack, and
Is this when Spicer's chasing him through the ship shooting?
no,
at them?
she has
Not
to
yet.
free him first.
Not yet, yeah.
Jack's all chained up, and she's like,
Oh, yeah.
and he's like, Rose, get the axe, Rose,
Yeah,
come
they
here,
chained him
Rose.
up in the bottom of the ship.
She takes
No,
practice swings.
he doesn't say get the axe.
No.
He
They
says
have
he says you have to go find a key, which, like,
There's
yeah,
a
go
wall-
risk your life.
there's a
to come
wall of
save me.
keys.
Like, yeah.
There's a wall of keys, and she looks at it for 2 seconds and decides that it's not there.
Well,
Well,
she
it's a
says
silver
it's
one.
a
They're
silver
all-
one. They're
they're
all
all
brass.
brass. Yeah.
Right. And then she goes out and she finds like a foreigner child.
just lost.
Yeah, and she's going to save him. And then the father comes and he gets washed away.
She also punches
Oh, wait,
an
no, that's
orderly.
later.
She punches
that's
an
later.
orderly.
Yes. Well, the hell with you.
She takes practice swings, then she frees Jack.
Yes,
These
we get
scenes
the
are
Rose
so
scene.
cool.
Rose.
Rose. So no men are allowed to get out of the poor section, which is where they are.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they go to another exit and they get like a
Well,
bench.
they have the gates closed.
Yeah.
Now, this has been criticized for over 100 years. That you
Yeah.
locked out these people and didn't even give them the fighting chance.
That's real. They really did this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
When they
I've
found
heard it's not confirmed.
when they found the ship, it wasn't confirmed, but when they found the ship and investigated it, the gates are still locked.
Well,
Now, a few of them have been broken, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And we get an amazing shot of a small Titanic ship and a flare going up. And you just see this vast blackness.
You get a sense of the enormity of
Oh,
this.
it's so scary.
That is cool.
It's
That is
so
cool.
scary. And they did a great job with that.
Truly terrifying the way the water just keeps rising.
They make it so scary.
Yes.
And rightfully so.
It's those last couple of minutes. Well, we'll get to it.
so they charge through the bench. They charge through the gate with the
Yeah,
bench.
with the Irish guy.
They cut to Zane propositioning someone.
Mind you, they also went through water
Murdoch.
at this point. That was-
Murdoch.
They would have had hypothermia by then, both of them. They swam
They
through
make
ice
such a
cold
big
water.
deal about being in the ocean, how cold it is. It's the same water.
Yeah. Same water. And they don't get me wrong. They're like, oh my God, this is cold. Oh my God, this is cold. But they would have got out, ran upstairs into the cold.
Yeah.
You would have had hypothermia before you made it into the top. Like you would have, they both would have been dead long before they made it up there. Like,
So let's talk about Murdoch. This is an important guy.
Is he?
Yes. I'll tell you why.
He was Daredevil. He was a blind lawyer from Hell's Kitchen who, after, he was blinded by radioactive waste, he dedicated his life to justice and defending Hell's Kitchen from Kingpin and Bullseye and a whole bunch of other criminals.
yeah.
Daredevil, Matt Murdock.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Murdoch. Yes. What about the real Murdoch?
the real Murdoch. So Cal pays him to get him a spot on a lifeboat. And later he will throw that money back in his face and say, your money can't save you or save me.
Yeah.
And he is desperately trying to have crowd control.
Yeah.
Now, Mr. Murdoch was there. He's been reported and seen, and every eyewitness says he was there helping people the whole time. In the movie, he pulls out a gun, and he threatens to shoot anybody who tries to crowd him. And he doesn't have any bullets in it, and he turns around and he puts the bullets in it.
It's a cool scene.
And then
He
he's
shoots
forced
himself,
to
right?
shoot the Irish guy.
Okay.
The Irish guy attacks him. He shoots him, kills him, and then he shoots himself. Now,
You confused two scenes.
He's talking about the guy in
I'm
general.
just talking about the guy,
The guy
in
in
general.
general, okay.
This is things that happen with this guy.
Oh, okay.
He kills himself. Now, the guy, there was a report of an officer shooting a gun into the air. It is the only time gun was ever said to go off in real life. Nobody ever saw somebody shoot themselves. Oh, I'm sorry. No, I'm lying. There was reports of guys shooting into the air, and one report of someone shooting themselves. Nobody knows who it was.
Okay.
They attributed to this guy Murdoch in the movie. The family of this guy flipped the fuck out when they saw the movie, saying they besmirched him.
It's
and made him-
100 years.
James Cameron issued an official apology to this family.
Wow.
And
Really?
Yeah, and
That's
I think they may
crazy.
have received some cash too.
He gave him shut up money.
Yeah,
That's wild.
yeah, yeah.
What's
They
the
made him
shame?
because they made him into a villain.
He's not a villain though.
He
just-
shoots the guy that everybody liked.
He gets
But he's
scared.
trying
He
to
shoots
keep.
Tommy.
He's trying to keep order.
I think it's justified too.
Yeah.
But
Well, it wasn't justified to shoot Tommy because Tommy got pushed forward, and then he shoots him. Yeah,
Tommy has been a hothead the whole movie.
he has. He's just cursing up a storm. Of course, the Irish guy gets the bullet.
Yeah. And then Fabrizio steals his life vest.
Yeah,
Because he's just a knife-wielding Italian thief, isn't he?
I think it just shows the desperation at that moment.
course.
It's just insane. Like, we got music to drown by now. Norman first class.
So
But anyway, back to the movie. Where are we at?
so there's a father who says goodbye to his daughter, and that's a very
heartbreaking.
sad scene.
It's heartbreaking.
Oh, yes.
And they
There's
put-
another boat for the daddies.
Yes, that's a sad scene. And then they put Rose on the boat.
Yep.
Yes.
And I like the scene of Billy Zane and Jack coming
Great
together.
moment.
You get another zinger.
This is his finest hour. This is Zane's finest hour.
I always
Yes.
He swallows his pride to save this woman.
Yes.
He eats the shit just to save this woman's
So
life.
Rose can live.
Yes. He makes
After she cucked him.
right. And Jack too. Give him credit.
Well, Jack has nothing to be ashamed about.
Right. But he
He's
goes
willing to
along with what
die.
Zane says, and he's like, yeah, we're going to get
We're
out
good.
together.
Yeah,
we're on the same team.
We're good.
Yeah.
And then you find out, no.
And Rose is like, I am hell bent on causing as much mayhem and destruction in everyone's life as long as I am alive. I am a force for chaos.
This had to be the best dick ever.
Yeah.
Because seriously, like she jumped off the lifeboat.
Do you think you could ever get dick good enough where you would jump off the lifeboat, Steve?
Maybe. Depends. Is it an artist?
It's hot young Leo. He drew you
Are they going to
nude.
draw me? It is slightly romantic in a twisted way. I'll say that.
So
She decides she's going to die.
She would rather die with the person she wants to be with rather than go possibly live a life without them. That's romantic
Well, now Billy Zane has
In a
lost it.
teenager sort of way.
in a teenager way. Yes,
Very Romeo and Juliet.
very much. Yeah.
Now Billy Zane has officially
He's like,
lost
are
it.
you fucking kidding me? Give me this gun.
Now I have to end this madness.
Maybe it's not the best time. It's not really the best time to go murder people.
I have to end this madness.
Society is upside down.
Up is down, left is right. Cats and dogs living together.
Mass hysteria.
You get another zinger from him. Everything he says is quotable.
Billy Zane is just like, fuck this. And he starts running at them, shooting throughout the Titanic. And then he has his great last line to them: enjoy your time together.
And he's, why are you laughing?
I put the
Diamond into the coat.
I put the coat on her.
Great.
Which
good.
when he's trying to save her, he doesn't know.
He,
that-
he just did it. He didn't
yeah,
realize.
he wasn't
Yeah,
thinking about the
he wasn't.
diamond.
No, he wasn't.
Oh, he's such a good dude.
I think he was more so.
He's the hero of the movie.
He was more so like he wasn't like worried about losing her more so than he was worried about actually being like ashamed in his like community. You know,
Yeah, this is
like
shit.
that's all that mattered.
He
to him.
wants to win. He says
Yeah.
it to Jack. I always
Right.
win. And we skipped when when they both, when him and Lovejoy, like they team up and they go, I make my own luck. I have money. So do I. I have a gun.
Right, those are just equally dangerous, right? Like that is so hippie. That's so hippie.
So now, as they're going through the boat, they find a little kid.
No good deed goes unpunished. They should have left the fucking child. They almost got.
Well,
them
yeah,
killed.
they're not a hero like Billy Zane, who actually
Exactly.
saves a child.
And I'm not even being like funny with that. He saves the kid. The kid would have
does.
died.
No, it's 100%
Yes. Now he saves himself too, but he
true. Someone has to take care of the kid.
right.
He used her to save himself, but yes, he did
Yes,
save
but
her.
he saved a child that would have otherwise died.
But
That
then,
would have been
there's
left alone.
chaos on the boat, and like
I like to
It
think
tips
after
over.
he makes that kid his ward.
In my fan fiction, he does.
Yeah.
That kid lived a great life.
We should write a movie about the life of that girl, admiring the man, and like he lost everything in the market.
Yeah.
And she got like nasty letters from Rose. Like, I'm glad he's dead and shit. The man who saved her life.
at one point now, and this is what we mentioned it before, where I was like, he
I'm a
went
child.
He went to save the kid, but I'm not sure if the kid lived. In this scene now, they're on the boat and it's going down, but the ship is also sinking. So the boat is like level, but they're trying to cut the ropes because there's chaos going on. As they're trying to cut the ropes, the boat goes to flip over, the lifeboat. And
This happened in real life.
half the people fall out and it goes back and Zane's holding onto the rope.
You're mixing up.
Yeah, you're mixing them up.
Two different boats. He tries to get on that boat. He fails. He goes to the other side and picks up the kid.
Yes.
Oh, okay, that's the one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah. So he has a couple of failed attempts getting on the
Right,
boats
right. So he did save the
before he resorts to picking up the child.
Well, he also goes to.
He saved the kid.
He goes to the guy he made an offer to Murdoch, and Murdoch throws
the
money
money
in his face.
Yeah.
And Billy Zane is like, okay, fuck you. I'm going to go to the other side. And he picks up the kid and he goes,
Yep.
I have a child.
Yep.
Which, when my kid gets here,
That's what you're saying.
yeah.
That's
yeah.
the first thing.
Yeah, I'm going to say it all the
beautiful.
time.
That's
I have a child. So,
Now we get
which
to
I don't know if
see,
we said it on the show.
I have a child?
That I'm having
Is
a
this
child.
an official announcement?
Yeah, I've made it public at this point.
Okay.
So yeah, my wife is pregnant. I'm going to be a
Yay.
He's
father.
going to be a young
Congratulations.
Rupert.
Much like Billy Zane, I'm going to have a child.
Yes, yes.
So the captain sucks. He's completely shell shocked and useless. He's just broken.
He was seen in real life going into
This
the
is true.
cabin, and that's the
Yes.
last anyone ever saw of him.
Yep.
He went down with the ship.
Yes.
Rightfully so.
Which I have
He
a
had a
problem.
bad record. You know,
He does. But I have a problem with making captains go down with the ship.
He got a
'cause
lot.
somebody has to take responsibility.
Somebody needs to take responsibility, and like they should be able to say, "This happened because of this, this, and this." Kill them after, but like they should have to give a testimonial about like
I
how
think
they
he
fucked
knew
up.
he wasn't going to live regardless.
We see Ishmael get on the ship. Get on the boat. On a
Yeah, the
lifeboat.
bad guy lives.
Yeah, he's after the whale with Ahab.
Ismay, whatever.
I know.
He is the chairman of the White Star Line. He became the representative of the company and like it was in charge of explaining everything. He in this movie is made to be a villain, yet everybody says that he was there until 20 minutes before the ship went completely under, helping people get on boats and just being a good guy.
Nice.
I had a fucking thought and I can't remember what.
Well, at what point can you like? Is it okay to just?
Oh, some people say he was secretly ordered by like the crew, by the captain even, to survive, to go and get on the boat, because if he went down, nobody could like truly.
That's what I'm saying. Somebody has
an
to
accounting.
Yeah, that's true.
Somebody has to explain what went wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Like the black box.
Right.
Like a plane has a black box now, which why don't they just make the whole plane out of the black box? That thing always survives. That's my 80s hacky comedian material.
That was good.
They can make a radio out of coconut, but they can't fix a hole in the boat. Gilligan.
And obviously the band is playing this whole time.
Yes.
And what black band do you know is going to be playing as the ship goes down?
Is that a real bit?
Yeah, did you ever see
Is that
Kings of Comedy?
Chris Rock?
It's Kings of Comedy. I think it's Steve Harvey. Where he's like, the white band on the Titanic playing as the ship went down. What black band you know gonna be playing as the ship goes down? You ain't gonna be seeing Boys to Men.
So now we get like
Andrews.
the last. Oh yeah, Mr. Andrews.
We
is washing
see
the
Andrews,
clock.
who
And supposedly that was like the last people saw of
Yeah.
him
Yes.
doing the same shit,
Yeah.
Yeah.
staring at the clock.
Right.
What a heartbreaking scene. We get a lot of heartbreaking scenes.
Well,
coming
this
up.
is the best. The best moments of the movie are right
Right
here.
now, yes.
It's the final like couple of minutes
of everyone. Yeah.
and you get all these vignettes
Guggenheim
of what people are
fucking
doing.
rules.
Guggenheim.
Guggenheim rules.
Is that the old man with the top?
I'm going to go down as a gentleman, but I will
I would
have
like
a brandy.
Yeah.
Yes.
You see Astor gets killed.
Yeah.
The old guy, he's watching as the guy with the brandy, Guggenheim. He's sitting in the chair and he's watching the water come up, and he's just like, "Oh fuck, I'm gonna die."
And
Yep.
yeah.
It's so scary.
There's so much horror
Yes,
here.
and you get the old people in the bed, and
putting
and
the kids
the
to
mom
bed.
with the kids.
Oh.
Yeah.
And Andrews turns the clock forward just to like
Yes.
this. So haunting.
Yeah.
That is a haunting scene.
Yeah, it's good. It's all good stuff.
And it's all
then,
practical effects.
Yes, and we see Trudy die. Well, not yet. Well, so the ship starts to rise,
Yep.
and everybody's running to the side.
I love Rose and Jack. It's like an inverse of how they first met.
It is, yeah.
yeah.
Which doesn't she say this is where we first
Yes,
met?
Yes.
she does. Yeah.
Yeah. And I love the guy that's next to them.
The chef.
The chef.
I love that guy. He underrated guy.
He's next to them on there like this, like when they're up in the air, like they look at each other like this is fucking nuts.
I hope the chef lived. He had like a flask. He was drinking
Yeah.
the whole time.
I like to think he made it.
That fucking
and you see
smokestack.
people falling and hitting the propellers and
I like
shit.
to think
That
he teamed up
smokestack.
with our little girl. That
Yeah.
remember Billy Zane?
Well, they're employed by Billy Zane. It's like a wacky sitcom set in the 1920s.
The smokestack falling is so fucking scary.
Spice of Lovejoy is at
Holy
exactly
crap.
the spot where the ship cracks.
They
Yeah.
wanted to just give him a brutal death.
One of the harder things to watch was the people at the top, and you see the woman holding the child just going, "It'll all be over soon. It'll all be over soon." And you're just like, "Oh my God, that is
The priest giving a
So
sermon
brutal.
and holding the people up.
yes."
We see Trudy die, who's she was
Their maid,
Their
right?
maid, yeah.
Now,
She falls down.
If you're on a lifeboat, this was one of the thoughts that I had that was really horrifying. You're on a lifeboat. The ship just goes down. You now have to listen to 1,500 people slowly freeze to death.
Yes.
Like that's, I can't think of something more horrifying
So-
in that moment.
After they go down and like Rose and Jack are floating and they find the debris, we cut to one lifeboat with Molly Brown being a pain in the ass.
Molly Brown is a hero.
Yeah.
She's being a pain in the ass.
Let me tell
Mr.
you.
Fantastic has to tell her what's up.
Is that him?
Yeah. And he goes, if
Shut
you
the
don't
hole in your
shut that hole in your face.
So do you know what really happened? That I don't know why this is in the movie. It was a giant missed opportunity.
Okay.
Molly Brown took over the boat from the crewmen, and the women rowed back and started saving people.
Really?
Yes. Molly Brown's a fucking hero.
Yeah. Unsinkable Molly Brown.
That's
is,
why she's the
is
unsinkable Molly
godlike.
Brown.
Yeah.
So she saved people.
Yes. Yep.
Where is her money from?
Her husband owned a gold mine, like out west somewhere.
And he
New
died?
money. New money.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
I didn't
if
look
her
into it.
husband Was on the ship.
No, I don't
Actually.
think he was.
No.
But she took charge of that boat and saved a bunch of people.
Well, they don't show that in the movie. They
No.
show her
The
being
movie,
told to shut up.
This is where the movie diverts from reality, and I don't get why.
Time.
To make it more dramatic.
I guess they make it that only one boat went back. Several boats went back, and they pulled up a bunch of people. There's no set number. Like, nobody knows exactly how many people were saved from the water. The movie gives an exact number.
Yeah.
She says like
6.
8.
6.
Yeah, like basically everybody's dead.
It's more than that.
Yeah, she said
almost
6 people
definitely
were
it's more
saved
than
out of 1,500 that went down.
But yeah,
And we get another famous
well,
line.
I'll never let go,
We
Jack.
get a lot of famous line here.
So it's going to be hack, but I guess let's do it. Could they both have fit on the door?
No, they tried. They tried when they first got
Mythbusters
there, and
did it,
it
right?
flipped over. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a buoyancy issue,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. They wouldn't have been able to. He knew he was dead. That's why he was like, you're going to live a long life and all this other stuff, because he's like, I'm dying like soon. Like, there's no way I'm surviving this. And
I'm dying, but at least I have the satisfaction. I ruined your marriage.
but that's why she's alive. I mean, she was really stupid, but he had to die for her to
how
live.
did she know that guy, that corpse, had a whistle?
He was blowing it before.
Oh.
Yeah. He was the one blowing it and then died with it in his mouth. So
Okay.
she went to get it.
Come about!
Is anyone alive out there?
Yeah, he does his
Anyone
best
hear
impression
me?
of an 80s metal guy. Is there anyone alive out there?
Who's ready to rock? He's not there to save them. He pulls like a guitar. Listen to this sick solo.
I can't hear you!
It's friggin' Bill and Ted.
And now we get
Well, we see the
wrap
doc.
up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Everyone that's alive is there. Billy Zane is still looking for Rose
Yes.
after she did him wrong.
Well, now he's looking for the diamond.
Yeah.
He doesn't
think?
give a fuck about Rose anymore.
Yes. Yeah.
I still think he's looking for Rose.
No.
Well, she finds the diamond.
Yes.
Yep.
And now we see
They
the
tell
Statue
us.
of Liberty.
They tell us he killed himself in 1929 after the crash.
Yes. And
By the way,
Carpathia.
she has this diamond.
Well,
Yeah.
This is what I want to talk about.
Okay.
This is
Yep.
what I've been dying to fucking talk
What do you
about.
want to talk about?
Okay.
All right.
She says her name's Rose Dawson, by the way.
Yes.
So the last thing she could. That's the least she could have
The
done.
fi-
She got the guy fucking killed.
The final insult. We go back to modern day.
Yes.
Now, we find out, well, she finishes the story and goes to bed. She never saw the diamond again, that's what she tells
She lied.
Bill Paxton.
Yeah.
She gets up in the middle of the night. She walks out on the deck, and she tosses. Yes, it makes the
What a
worst
bitch.
sound ever. Okay. I get that maybe she didn't want to use Zane's money to like live a life of luxury and wealth.
The husband is coming home after work
She
and
deprived her children, her legacy, of
her
an
granddaughter.
inheritance.
Millions of dollars.
It's the most selfish act of any character ever.
Yup.
It's so boomer.
yeah.
It's like it's more important, like my happiness and my satisfaction than any of my prodigy. I want to live a better life than the generation that comes after me.
It's so true, though.
Yeah.
Like, that guy was coming home, like, they're struggling to make a mortgage. He's like,
Yep.
God, I'm, like, breaking my
Right.
back at this mine or whatever he's
Right.
doing.
And I get that she didn't want that to be a part of her life. She's about to die. She can give the fruit of her loins just everything. She can give them the world. But it's
Yes.
more important that Jack gets it the dumb fucking guy she fucked on a boat 90 years ago.
All right.
Fuck Rose. Fuck her up her stupid ass. She is clown shoes.
She's one of the worst characters in any movie by far.
I'll take the other point. Fine. I'll take the other side.
Defend this. Go ahead.
I will defend it. Partially, I do agree the fact that it's a selfish move.
Yes.
That's like you threw away $150 million, generations worth of wealth.
I'm not saying you give it to Bill Paxton.
No, I get that.
Right.
Yeah.
You're an asshole if you give it to Bill Paxton too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're going to use the same thing. If you reflect back on this experience of hers, she really hated her life being rich. She doesn't want that for her kids, right?
Stop.
Hold on. So I don't know why she held on to it. You would assume that she would have just thrown it into the ocean anywhere. Like, what does it matter that it has to be at that
This
moment?
whole thing
it's
that
stupid.
she made them take her out there was so she could do this.
Now,
Yes.
hold on.
Yeah.
Wait, think about this. If it's regular time, right? There's
Yeah.
no boat.
Yes.
And she just dies of natural causes. They're going to go
They're gonna
through her
find it.
shit and they're going to find this $200 million diamond.
Yes. Yeah.
So, what? She was okay with giving it or leaving it for them to find.
But she saw an opportunity where I could dump it in the sea above Titanic.
Yes. Now I got to take it.
So
Garbage person.
it's her letting go of the past, right? Letting go of, okay, this is the last piece remaining of that past life that I hated. Let me get rid of it.
But she's not letting it go because her
just did.
afterlife is fucking Jack. She doesn't let it go. She
she's
never lets go.
Yeah, that's the point. They say it all the time in the movie.
She had a husband and a life.
Yes, she did. But the only reason she had that was because Jack sacrificed himself to show her what her life
All right,
could be.
this is a good question.
It was to show her what her life
Do
could
you
be,
think?
not to
Do you
fall,
think
like, stay with
Jack
him.
would be happy that she spent 90 years completely unfulfilled
No, she
and
was
never
fulfilled.
truly happy?
She was fulfilled.
No, she was never truly happy because she still wanted Jack. She never loved her husband. Do you think Jack is happy about that? Would be.
No, he wouldn't.
Exactly. She couldn't even give Jack what he wanted.
That's just the
'Cause she
wrong way
never
to
really
read
loves her
into it.
husband.
That's the wrong way to read into it.
She never loved her husband.
And the pictures show us.
The
I don't
only
know-
reason she
I don't
had
know
a
if she
good
never
life was
loved her
because of the
husband.
experience.
That's a stretch.
she never loved him as much as Jack.
Probably true.
Jack freed her. That's the
The fact of the
whole
matter is
point
that
of
she
this.
injected Jack's bullshit into their lives, and the photos prove that.
It's not his bullshit. It's her. She wanted to be free. Jack represented that. Therefore, she lived
But
a
she
life to
wasn't free.
represent that.
She lived Jack's version of it.
But that's how she wanted to live. She did not want to live as a slave. She wanted to live her own life how she would. She didn't want to be at the beck and call of a man like Cal. She wanted to have her freedom. And if I want to fly a plane, I'm going to go do it. If she wanted to fly a plane with Cal, Cal would have been like, no. Right? I want to go ride a horse like a cowboy. He would be like, no, you're going to ride side and be a woman.
Did she ask Cal if she could go ride the horse?
Well, it's a good
thing
thing
is,
she died
in
at
order
this
to
moment because
survive-
she was 4 years away from completing her actual goal of why she was flying planes.
You're talking about 9/11.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was that was a good one. No, like that's the opposite side. Like if she would have sold that diamond and give millions and millions of dollars to her kids, they would have lived a life of royalty that basically she hated. She didn't want them
There's
to
a
live
difference between being a rich socialite in 1920, where you have societal expectations, and being rich or well off in 1997, where you actually can have freedom and do all that shit that she wanted. Her granddaughter could have rode around on horses every day till the fucking cows came home in 1997.
And then, like, what fulfillment are you actually getting then out of life? Like, you're not going to work for anything ever? Like, that's like...
What did
These are adults. Her granddaughter is there.
All right, what is the number one thing that happens to people who win the lottery? Their lives are ruined. Every time.
What are you talking about, Steve?
People who come into a big amount of money usually have their lives ruined. Look it up.
They
There's a whole
usually lose it.
There's a documentary about it.
But does that mean their lives are ruined?
Yes, there's a documentary about it.
Yeah, some people mismanage their money.
Not some
It
people.
happens.
Not
Give
some
the
people.
kids a chance.
Majority of people.
You're saying she's justified in dumping the diamond.
I think it's a selfish move. I don't think it's justifiable, but I understand why.
You're playing devil's advocate.
But no,
do you know-
I understand why.
Do
Though,
you know
because
what happened?
It's a horrible thing.
Do you know what happened to the diamond after the movie?
It's not real.
No, yes, it is.
Okay,
after
what
the
happened?
movie.
Oh,
Britney Spears. The guy went down and got it for Britney
Went
Spears.
down and got it for you.
That's hysterical.
The Heart of the Ocean, by the way, is a fake diamond, not real at all.
Yeah, right.
Right, we didn't say it, but
They
I
gave it a
think-
backstory like it was
Louis
Louis the
Yeah.
16th. 16th?
Yeah.
So, alternate ending time?
Alternate ending time.
Alternate
Yes, yes,
ending.
yes,
Which is
yes.
how I know James Cameron actually sucks.
From the alternate ending?
Yeah, you could tell that
That was a bad ending.
that he got lucky.
That was a bad ending. That would have ruined the whole movie.
If that's the ending, this is not the success it is.
No, people be talking about how shitty that ending is.
Yeah.
Well, the real ending, you have the pictures of what we mentioned before. But what is the alternate ending, Brian?
The alternate ending is she's about to throw it away, and Bill Paxton and
And the whole crew.
the whole crew are like, "Stop! Don't!"
They stop her.
And
you
she-
can look this up on YouTube.
Yeah, and
if you haven't seen
she
it.
gives a speech.
Yes.
About how Bill Paxton needs to like fuck her granddaughter, and they need to get together.
Yes.
When they've had no
They've had
chemistry
no interaction whatsoever.
or
throughout.
chemistry.
Yeah.
You two need to bang. If there's
On this boat.
If there's one thing I know,
It's fucking on a boat
It's fucking on a boat
is
with someone
important.
you just met.
Yeah.
I know you may have marriages, wives, husbands,
Doesn't
whatever.
matter.
You guys got to fuck on this boat. Then she proceeds. Bill Paxton begs her, please, before you do this,
He goes, let me touch it.
let me just hold it.
And instead of she holds it out to him, and instead of him snatching it, he just rubs his hands on it.
He just accepts his fate.
Yes. And then she throws it into the ocean in front of everyone. And
A few of them freak out.
the guy, the cool guy, Dusty of the
No,
Sea,
what are you
doing?
he goes, well, that really sucks, lady. And then Bill Paxton
They
starts
laugh.
laughing maniacally and looks at the daughter and goes, do you want to dance? We're not making this up. This is a
so
real scene that
cringy.
was filmed. It is on YouTube. You can watch it right now.
How awesome would it have been if Bill Paxton, like as she's holding it, he's like, give me the diamond, you old bag. And he pushes her
That's probably what
like
would have actually
Seinfeld with the
happened.
marble rye.
Question. If she drops it down, right, and they have Duncan, do you think Duncan could have got that?
Duncan can get it,
He could, right?
but they need
Donuts?
The robot.
to, the robot.
Oh.
They need to know that she had it, and they don't in the ending that
Real
exists.
Right. Yeah.
Because in the real ending, he's like, okay, yeah, let's
And they're
dance.
moving,
And
yeah.
you know, in like 10 minutes after he's done dancing with her, he's getting the robot and getting the diamond.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. It's going to be tough to find.
They're moving, but
They
it's,
saw
it's
where
not
she
that far.
threw it.
Yeah.
You know?
It's also reflective, so a light would just kind of like you'll see that pretty quickly. If you just
Ocean floor.
Yeah, if you just send the robot in one direction with a light, you'll get it.
Plus, who knows how long would it take for the diamond to fall 2 miles to the ground? I don't even know.
Yeah.
In water, nah, I don't know. Not
Plus,
that
I'm sure it'll
long.
move. You know.
Yeah, but you scout an area, you send 2 or 3 robots out, you'll get it.
Look, if you know it's there,
You gotta look. You gotta give it.
yeah.
a
You gotta,
Yeah, you have no
yeah.
choice now, and you can send more robots and ships because you're 100% certain. So
is that it, guys?
I think that's it for
think we
Titanic.
finished
Yeah,
Titanic.
we did
I think we
Titanic.
dissected this very thoroughly.
It had to be.
And I
dissected.
hope that we gave people a new perspective on the movie.
Yeah, I think your guys' perspectives is warranted.
Are me and Aunt Cavemen?
Yes, but you're
I
warranted.
think partially we are.
Yeah.
We're out of line a few times,
Yes.
But I mean,
but I think they're real thoughts that people need to consider.
the evidence the evidence is presented in such a way where it's like,
Yes.
I don't know how you can call us assholes.
But
Put
like
yourself in the perspective of
I
the
did.
people there.
But like I
Called
said,
you assholes.
the movie is dumb.
Yes.
There's dumb shit in it,
Yeah.
but there's also stunning brilliance at the same time.
Yes.
Visually stunning, emotionally dumb.
There's parts where it's
And then there's it's great.
there's emotionally great parts. Yeah.
I'm talking as far as the
Overall.
main shit.
Yeah.
Like obviously the shit where it's like the mother with her kids
tragedy
and
of
the
it,
old
yeah,
people. It's
yeah.
like
That
those old
hurts.
people are real too, by the
Yes,
way.
yeah.
That's a real couple.
That's a tragedy.
But
there.
it's like there's real emotional moments that really pay off. Like the band is great. That used to make me cry as a kid.
One thing I do want to say, and this is just about the zeitgeist of this movie and where it's been. 1,500 people died, right?
Yeah.
This is a tragedy. This is a massive tragedy. And yet, in 1997 and 1998, Americans felt it was completely okay to make a bouncy house-style inflatable Titanic that kids could slide down from the top into the icy water below to have at block parties. Would you do that with 9/11? Would you do that with Pearl Harbor?
Maybe
one day.
Why did this movie kind of make it seem like a not real event to people?
because it's fun to people. And it's such a love story and it's beautifully shot.
Yeah.
And there's still something so glamorous about it that you
Right.
could fantasize.
I
Yeah.
think there's people out there today that don't know it's real.
No, there's 100% people. You see it pop up on Twitter every now and again. People are like, Titanic is real? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like people say shit like that. Did you have anything else to say about the conspiracy theory before we wrap?
No, did you?
No, I wasn't sure if like I was missing anything.
This is a
There's a
rabbit
lot.
hole you
Yeah.
can dive into if
Okay.
you feel so inclined.
We could have an entire episode on
Yeah.
it.
I choose to believe it, by the way.
The JP Morgan or the U-boat?
Morgan.
The Morgan, yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
like the U-boat one. It's cool, but I know it's not
What, the
real.
Germans sunk the ship?
Testing the because it's all the biggest.
I mean, the
names
war
in
starts in 2
capitalism,
years.
basically. Biggest names in capitalism for your enemies, all on one ship.
That Kaiser, what a bastard.
They're going into the ice field, and
Right.
but realistically,
All right.
you could see the damage.
What do you rate it, Steve?
I give it a high rating. I think we're also slightly tainted from seeing it a lot, which
Oh, definitely.
I give this a 9.5 out of 10. It's not perfect, obviously, but I think I could rewatch this movie 100 times, and I'm gonna love it every time.
Brian?
Ooh, man, this is tough. I'm going to go 6.
6.
Okay.
It's visually stunning, but like with all Cameron shit, I don't connect with any of the emotional beats really of the main story.
Like I said before, it's very fun watch.
Yeah.
It's endlessly watchable. And I think you have to give credit to that. I give a ton of credit to the accuracy of the movie. You know, with the few exceptions.
Yeah.
They took out things because they didn't fit in it dramatically, and I that's fine.
You always have to give a little leeway.
Right. But it is dumb as shit. So I'm going to give it a 7. I'm going to give it a 7.
Okay.
I honestly, I wasn't going to give a rating until I heard what Brian said because I wanted to be higher than Brian and lower than yours. So I'm going to give it a 7. I wanted to be the middle ground.
Okay.
All right. That's fine. That's fine.
So, guys, in honor of Titanic, this is our longest episode by far.
Is it really?
It's almost as long as Titanic.
Oh gosh.
We are like 2 hours and 45
my
minutes.
God.
Enjoy cutting this together because you have to cut out a lot.
Maybe I will put it in 2 parts. Jesus Christ. Do you think we can get this on cassette, on VHS cassette, in time for the release?
Maybe.
All right.
All right, guys.
That's it, guys.
Thank
Say
you
bye.
for listening. This was great.
Thanks for listening, guys. Bye-bye.
Want to give a big thank you to Tom, Steve, Dave, let us record down in the studio. Thanks to Walt Gedham. Please follow us on all social media. Review History Pod on Twitter, Reviewing History Pod everywhere else. You can send us an email at reviewinghistorypod@gmail.com. You can rate and review us on iTunes. Please do. It helps potential sponsors find the show. Follow me on all social media at Brian Rupert. Follow me on Letterboxd. I rank and review every single movie I watch. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next time with Joyeux Noël.
Joyeux Noël.
Joyeux Noël.
Merry Christmas.
Ho, ho, ho.